What's up, everyone out there? YouTube world, how you all doing? My Cowboys family coming to you live. Another one of our daily live streams. Trying this out for the first time, so please, please, please work with me, guys. Just learning how to do this Google Hangouts, trying to make it the most interactive way possible. We do have a special guest today, SpaceCowboy17. He's going to be here discussing some Cowboy news, especially regarding the Denver Broncos and the upcoming game, guys. Let me just double check and make sure all things are working. So just hold me a second, guys. Make a comment if you are there. Let's see if this works. All right. Let's try this and this. So let me know, guys, if you can hear me. Hey, there we go. Now I see everybody out here. All right. Sorry about that, guys. I'm a little behind. Again, doing this for the very first time. I'm going to send the, hey, what's up, guys? Terrabelli, Space Cowboy, of course. I'm gonna get you on here. Don't worry, in a minute. Tobias, Argentina, Bobby J, Eagle fan. Thanks for all your comments. Definitely sub. I got some information here, and let me run through some of it. I'm just gonna figure out a way to use the chat as well. It's not gonna be in the video, it looks like, unfortunately, but there'll be a way here I can at least see both. I can see what the chat's doing, and I can talk with my Google Hangout partner here for this episode, Mr. SpaceCowboy17. All right. So give me another 30 seconds, guys. Shouldn't be much longer. Hit like while we wait. Hit like, hit subscribe if you're new. We appreciate it, guys. So let's go. First off, guys, before I send any links out, Hurricane Eagle fan, thank you. Hurricane Irma, still repairs. The schools are going to start up again on Monday. Everything's really kind of been slow going here in Central Florida. So thank you for asking, but everything's better. Insurance is worth it right now. Home insurance. And aside from that, guys, let me roll right into some Cowboy news. All right. Let me run through this with you guys here. It's going to be some Cowboy news, some Denver news. First off, of course, as you guys probably already heard from this morning, the NFL officially appealed Ezekiel Elliott's injunction. They appealed it to the Fifth Circuit Court. So they were supposed to rule on it yesterday. Now it's going to obviously be next week. So we'll have to see if how that works out, but it's like a 95% chance it's going to be in Zeke's favor, guys. Not much to worry about as far as what I've been hearing. Not much to worry about. Alfred Morris, guys, he's been working with the second team. Just letting you guys know about that. That's kind of side note. We kind of already assumed he was going to be the backup for this upcoming game with him getting second team snaps the whole week. Back to one thing about the Zeke thing, guys. And I hope I'm live with you guys. Let me just double check. Hopefully you guys hear me. Let me know. Let me know if you guys hear me, guys. Okay. How about them Cowboys? What's up? I have to check it out. I want to say about the Zeke situation, guys, that actually with the NFL is asking the courts to get this thing done. Thank you, Space Cowboy. They're asking to get this thing done as soon as possible. It was kind of strange. They're the ones that wanted to, they want to push it now to try to get this response in as soon as possible. Probably not as much to get that they think that Zeke is going to be suspended, but more so to the fact that they want to get this process moving along so it gets through the courts a lot faster, which means they can, they're hoping they can still impose their six-game suspension ruling against Zeke before the end of this season to try to really screw over the Cowboys and the fact that they're fighting back and Zeke and all this situation. What's up, Purple Gaming? How you doing? So That's just a little side note that the NFL is trying to push to get it done, but like they said the 19th of this month, and then I heard the 29th. So basically, they're trying to get it as expedited as possible. So in hopes to try to get them out for week 3 and on. The percentage of that happening, though, the probability of that happening, guys, is 1% or so. It's very little. Don't expect anything to really come up differently, and basically the judge to change his mind and say, hey, no, the NFL is right, and that we're going to take away the injunction, which then allows the suspension to proceed. Don't expect that to happen, guys. What's up, Zach? How you doing? And as I said, Alfred Morris is the number 2 running back. It looks like he's going to be the number 2 back this week. Terrence Williams, guys, our receiver, number 83. All right, as I said, he was injured. He was limited. First time in practice. First time he never has been to a full practice was 3 days ago. He missed that one. He missed yesterday. Now he's basically was out on the field. He was all taped up. That's at least he was out there, and he's pretty tough, guys. So Terrence Williams is out there. He's back practicing. He was still a little bit limited, but at least he was out there, guys. And Byron Jones, same thing. You know, he's my concern. That's why I'm wearing number 24 right now, which is backwards on this Google chat. But Nolan Carroll, listen, he came up pretty big for us this last game against Brandon Marshall. We need him against Demaryius Thomas this week. And we need, without our cornerback, Orlando Scandrick, who is officially out for this game against Denver, guys, we're going to need other guys stepping up. So Chidobe, Awuzie, we need, Nolan Carroll, Anthony Brown. They all have to come in and play. But Byron Jones as a safety, guys, I think he holds a lot of that together back there. Some people hate on him. I like Byron Jones. I think he's a fantastic athlete. I think he knows football. I think he's kind of going to become a leader of the secondary, even more so than Orlando Scandrick. And I do think that he's a key to have out on the field. I don't care who we're playing. Limited offense, a great offense. Either way, we need him on the field. And it's just sad that, he has a groin injury, a groin pull that we announced yesterday. But guys, Garrett this morning wanted both him, Byron Jones, and Terrence Williams to get time on the field, playing, practicing, doing something out there, more than just being very limited. On a side note, I'm going to jump back and forth here, guys. Ryan Switzer and Cole Beasley, they split punt return reps. Keep that in mind. So Des Bryant took a few as well. Pretty much we expect that. We know it's going to be probably Switzer most of the time. Maybe Beasley coming in if need be, but there's no real concern in that right now. Like I talked about, Orlando Scandrick being out. He was on the practice field at least this week. Not this week, but today. He wasn't out there the last couple of days since having surgery. He was out there this practice today. After the stretching and all that warming up and stuff, when the drill started starting up, that he went back. He left the field. Terrence Williams was on the field after missing 2 practices, guys. Like I said, he had extra tape over his cleats to help him with his ankle. It's really a foot injury. And again, going back to Byron Jones, guys, limited because of his groin strain. But he didn't do much in the beginning opening practice, but he did do it. I mean, to me, from what I heard, he was limited, but he did enough, guys. I think we got Byron Jones, number 31. That's kind of what I wanted to ease into here. Was Byron Jones is going to play. He's going to play this week against Denver, and that's why I'm stressing his importance. That's a great sign that he's out there. He's a great sign that even though he's limited, he's out there practicing. And the big thing that I heard was basically he's going to be limited only in special teams, guys. And I was wondering that too. I did see him on special teams a lot against the Giants. I think some of his I think he's a high caliber player. I think some of his caliber should not be out there on special teams. It's my 2 cents on that. I was surprised to see him out there, and that's good to hear. They're gonna pull back some of that special teams play against Denver, and hopefully for the rest of the season. I hope they could throw somebody else in there. I know Frazier's in there. I know all the backups are in there, but man, to have Byron Jones out there, it's crazy. I don't know. That's a little scary to me. Yeah, I'm seeing here the Zeke thing, 9/26, September 26th is what the NFL is saying for a ruling no later than that. That's what they're asking for. They were pushing for the 19th first, so I think they pulled back a little bit on that. So I mean, again, guys, I think that for the most part, Cowboys, we know about Scandrick. They're still saying he's a game time decision. Don't count that. He's out. He's not going to play. Look for him against the Cardinals. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm thinking and seeing. Terrence Williams, Byron Jones, again, limited. I kind of went over these things already. I want to jump over to the Denver Broncos, guys. They have Ron O'Leary, our former Cowboy guard, who, you know, we've been struggling all offseason and training camp to kind of fill in that spot. And we finally got Chaz Green healthy enough out there to play that position. But yeah, Ron Lary's with the Broncos now, and he had a concussion earlier in the week. He was in the protocol. He looks like he's out of the protocol, and he's out there. He was actually limited today at practice. He's questionable for the game, but look for him to try to make an effort to get out there and play against the Cowboys. So we'll see. And again, on the Cowboys, again, for the third or fourth time in case you missed it, Terrence Williams, Byron Jones officially listed as questionable, but they've both been hinted that they're going to play. So that is a great sign, guys. And for some reason, Terrence Williams cannot. Bryce Butler will. For some reason, Byron Jones cannot. That would hurt. But it'd be Kevon Frazier out there. And, of course, our favorite two rookies here, Chidobe Awuzie and Jordan Lewis, guys, they were back out there in practice for the third straight practice. It's fantastic. Full participants, the whole 9 yards. Both are expected to play Sunday, and not only play, but be integral parts of the nickel, of the dime packages, guys. Like I said, I think you're going to see basically in the nickel coverage, you're going to see Carroll, you're going to see Anthony Brown, you're going to see Cheeto out there, and then you're going to see Heath and Byron Jones, assuming he plays. You're going to see those 5 guys in the nickel. And then I think when you're in a dime, you might bring in Jordan Lewis or even Kevon Frazier when you need that 6th coverage guy. So, I mean, that's kind of the rundown as far as injuries, updates of players, you know, just the outlook for this weekend as far as what we're going to be working with on offense and defense, what the Broncos are going to be working on offense and defense. And just a side note, speaking of the Bengals, first team since the 1939 Eagles, the Cincinnati Bengals, guys, they're the first team since the 1939 Eagles to start a season by playing 2 straight home games without scoring a touchdown. That's crazy. That's crazy. And they weren't playing like powerhouse teams. I can understand if they're playing like New England and Dallas or Seattle or Green Bay or Atlanta, but no, they were playing Houston and they played Baltimore. Not saying Baltimore is bad, but come on, guys. I mean, no touchdowns. That's insane. Broncos coach Vance Joseph said that the Cowboys are easy to scout. So they're easy to scout, but very hard to beat. No truer words been spoken, guys. And pretty much, guys, that's the update on my side. I'm going to start bringing in here. I'm going to do my best, Mr. Space Cowboy. Let's see. I hope you're ready to run in here. I'm not sure if you were able to jump in. I see I have 10 viewers here. I think it's connected. I don't see a chat come up, though, guys. So kind of wanted to incorporate a chat. Guess I can't do that. Let me send the link. We'll get this done, guys. Just give me a minute. Mr. Space Cowboy. The link has been posted. Come join. And let's get a little discussion about the Denver Bronco game, guys. I think this is going to be a big one. Similar to the Giants in many ways. But let's see, you know, how things pan out. I think that we have to just control the game, running the ball, Zeke, behind the best offensive line in the league versus, you know, the best, I mean, not versus, but because their running game is not that, their running defense is not that great for the Denver Broncos, but I think they're like 26th last year against the run. And they might have improved. I don't know. They lost to Marcus Ware, so I don't know. But their pass rush is fantastic with Von Miller. And their coverage secondary, Akeem Talib, and a bunch of other guys, even though a couple are kind of banged up, they're all very good. So Dak has to be conservative. He has to be careful. He has to really be aware. And you know, I think that if Dak and the coaching staff, Scott Linehan, the offense coordinator, takes it conservatively enough, I think there's a good chance that we easily just win this game in the sense that we run the ball between the tackles, establish a running game, make sure our tackles do a good job, especially La'el Collins, and keeps Von Miller off of Dak. Now, I sent you that link. Hey, what's up? Amy Can Fly. Tobias, what's up? Little J is better than Space Cowboy. I do think that when it comes to trash talking and the whole thing, guys, I agree. She's right now just having some fun on the on Roblox, if you guys know what that is. If you have kids, you do, and if you're young enough, you do know what that is probably. Chris Harris, guys, exactly. Tobias said it himself right here. If you found anybody for the Broncos, let me know. If anybody from the Broncos wants to chat about them as well, I would love to have them in here. I sent you the link, Space Cowboy. It's in that post. Hold on a second, guys. It looks like for us on the slot, we're gonna have Anthony Brown playing slot, guys. Yeah, I mean that's interesting. I thought he was yesterday. I was saying he was gonna play the outside with Nolan Carroll playing the left and Anthony Brown playing the right. Well, now he's gonna move into a slot coverage. I'm assuming he's gonna probably be covering someone like Emmanuel Sanders. That's gonna be my guess, which actually kind of works out. Kind of makes sense. But I'm just used to seeing Anthony Brown cover the right side, and even the left side at times last year. But Nolan Carroll's getting the left, and I think that we. I do think that our coverage is going to be pretty decent against this team. If Nolan Carroll can hold up against Demaryius Thomas, I think if Anthony Brown in the slot against Emmanuel Sanders, that holds up. And then we have we're going to have Chidobe Awuzie playing on the outside, guys. Now, Anthony Brown playing on the outside when it's just the base defense, the 4-3. But when we move into a nickel, you're going to have a slot guy. And so that slot guy is going to go from Anthony Brown playing on the outside. He's going to move into the slot, and you're going to bring Chidobe Awuzie back in. Not back in, but in for the first time in the nickel, playing in Anthony Brown's original cornerback spot. And then, as you know, Anthony Brown plays the slot. So that's what we're looking like in the cornerback situation. And our safeties, guys, same too. It's going to be Byron Jones if he's healthy. Please be healthy. And of course, Jeff Heath, who had a very good game against the Giants, and I eat crow on that, I guess. You don't see it? Just post it. Okay. Well, I'm trying. Let me see. That works. Should work. Let me know if it doesn't, man. I should be hearing Space Cowboy in here any moment. So, guys, hit like if you haven't already. If you're new, hit subscribe. We could do these every night. This is actually the first that we're doing with the Google Hangout. So, pretty cool. I'm actually kind of excited to see this. I knew it was going to be a little bumpy in the beginning. Hey, what's up, man? How you doing?
You might want to delete that link so people don't jump in.
Yeah, I know. You're right. I can probably control that. But I will say.
Yeah, I got it.
There we go. I got it.
Yeah.
All good.
Yeah, hold up 1 second.
Sure.
Okay, hold up. I got to go take care of something real quick. I'll be right back.
Yeah. So everyone out there, guys, Space Cowboy will be right back. I hope you guys, we're going to talk about some Denver Bronco information here. And, when I'm looking at, we're starting with offense, Trevor Siemian, guys, former 7th round pick. He beat out Paxton Lynch. I mean, I'm not really a big fan of this guy. I actually was more of a fan of Paxton Lynch, but I understand that it's taking a little more time with him. Siemian is there, and he can do some stuff now. He's a little bit of a gunslinger in my mind. He throws. He can do it. He can do it, sure, he can make some good, accurate passes. I think you put a little pressure on him, starts to kind of throw things out of whack for him. I also think if you push him to basically throw at almost all time, I think you can then key in on his receivers, cover a little better, and then that will add to the pressure. And we need that push from Paya. We need that push from Collins on the inside.
Alrighty, I return. Alrighty, I'm back.
Hey,
okay,
man,
let's get this done. Alrighty. So, what to talk about?
Well, I want to speak about the Denver Broncos and see what they're going to be throwing at us, starting with their offense. What do you think?
Okay, well, from what I saw from the Denver Broncos, mostly what they utilize is a pretty vanilla offense, simply just the basic balanced offense. Run it. They have C.J. Anderson, they have Jamal Charles, so they don't have like a weak running back field. But that offensive line is what makes this offense click for the Broncos, and unfortunately, it doesn't.
I was gonna say, yeah.
No, but when you're looking at this Broncos team, they have the offense. They remind me a lot of the Giants. They have the offensive weapons to produce. That offensive line is just what doesn't make it click.
Right.
So, and not only along that side, also Trevor Siemian, if you can get to him and create pressure on him and rattle him, he crumbles.
Yeah, I actually I said that exact thing a couple minutes when you were off. I actually was because I was talking a little bit about him and how actually I like Paxton Lynch overall better for the long run. Simeon just doesn't seem somebody I would have confidence in if I was a Denver fan. But I do say that he can like you said this earlier on another stream that he can throw it deep. He has has the ability.
Oh,
I
yeah.
have seen him be able to throw the ball and get that ball in places, but I think he takes chances. I think if we play the aggressive defense we've been playing, I think that's going to bode well for our defense and our cover guys, especially if we get I know we're going to have Orlando Scandrick, but we're going to have pretty much everybody else that we want in there. So I don't know. I think that what do you think that matchup's going to look like when he's passing? Of course, when we're talking about situational football, and you have we're up by, let's say we're up 21-3 or something like that. Obviously, it changes the game. And
Yeah.
we're not. I'm talking about from the start. What do you think when they start throwing? And we can because our rush defense is
this
premier,
is what you do. Now, what happens is from what I've seen, they favor throwing intermediate, short, quick passes. That's how their offense works. I mean, that's how they managed to get up quick on Los Angeles before they nearly folded and went into overtime. So there's two aspects to their game. The first one is that they love doing quick strikes to the defense to try and catch them off guard. And sometimes they'll utilize their running game if it, but the problem is that, and why I think we need to focus on shutting down the run game more importantly, because then if you get to Trevor Siemian, then that whole Broncos offense, just that whole game plan goes out the window.
Yeah, I mean, what do they do then if that starts breaking down and they go pass only, and then you get to Trevor Siemian? At that point, it's pretty much over.
Yeah, exactly. And I mean, like the only thing that I'm worried about if it's our defense is basically you don't want to give Trevor Siemian time in the pocket because he can't air it out if you give him time. I mean, he's in essence Alex Smith, just the worst version of Alex Smith, being that. He won't lose you games, but he won't win you games. So,
yeah, Tobias makes a great point there. He says something similar. He's a project like to be like Alex Smith. I mean, that's basically what his pedigree is in this. And
my whole thing, and this is why I think, like, then what was the point of drafting Paxton Lynch? I know they wanted to draft Dak Prescott, but we all know how that fiasco turned out.
The plane late, yeah, that was great.
Yeah, thank God. No, but I just think when you're looking at this, like, I think realistically, I think that Paxton Lynch is more talent. He has more potential, but that doesn't mean that it's all there for him. It's potential.
I agree. And the potential is, is what they're banking on. Again, I don't know if I'd feel so great about the potential of being an Alex Smith. And no diss to Alex Smith. It's just that I would want more if I had to wait for something to produce.
Yeah, Alex Smith is the stereotypical pocket passer quarterback. Like he'll put the ball where it has to be, but he won't take chances. And people might be like, "Oh, but that's Dak Prescott." But Dak Prescott, he can put the ball downfield. Right. He can do much more than just stand in the pocket.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. So
and again, I think Prescott is built differently too. I mean, Simeon, I'm not really sure of his heights and weight stats or all that, but I mean, I know that with the way Dak is I'm not saying Simeon can't run. He can run like that kind of quarterback can run. Like that pocket passing type of quarterback, Aaron Rodgers kind of runner in a way, or Alex Smith, but not like a Dak Prescott type runner. When and you can see Dak is he's built stronger. He throws the ball somehow. I mean, I know Simeon does throw it well as well, but I don't know. There's a difference between both quarterbacks. I think anybody watching football can see that. And I'm just trying to think. That's one key to the game. In the running back, C.J. Anderson. I don't know if Jamal Charles is going to play, but I know they have a couple other guys back there. I mean, our run defense versus their running backs. I think we have the advantage there. I mean, that's
and I will bring this up. Like when it comes to scrambling and throwing the football, it's like you could say any quarterback does that, but the thing is how much do they perfect it? To the point where,
I agree.
Like, if you're an Aaron Rodgers, like he can literally throw a Hail Mary and he'll make it something. Like
exactly, you're right.
Perfected it. Yeah.
No, he and that's where Simeon is far from it. I mean, that's where he's not. I was just saying he was more that kind of guy that can scramble and give you.
Oh no, I understand.
There.
Yeah, I got you. I'm just saying, like, just in case people get confused. Like,
Yeah, no, you're right, 100%, exactly. It's nothing like Aaron, yeah, like the Aaron Rodgers compare. Yeah, there's no way he's going to amount to that, Simeon. And also, I mean, when we go back to the running backs, our run defense. I mean, I know people always make fun of the Cowboys defense in general, but our run defense has been great last year. I think it's even better this year, honestly.
Well, there's two aspects to that. The first one is you actually stopping the run. The second is forcing the other team to pass. That's what the Cowboys did. The Cowboys did more of. They scored so much and so often that teams just forgot. Were like, forget the run. We're just gonna pass so we can get back in this game. And that's why the Cowboys finished, I believe, first in the league for run defense. Now, I'm not trying to underrate our players, because I think, like, if like Sean Lee is arguably the most underrated linebacker in the league. I personally think that he does, like, yes, he's physically gifted and he is so smart as a linebacker. Him and Jalen Smith are going to be havoc on that field. I mean,
powerhouse guys.
Yeah, exactly.
I think, yeah.
Yeah.
No, go ahead. No, I'm sorry.
No, it's fine.
I agree with everything you're saying, because that's part where they get the help from the line. It's not just Paya and Collins. It's also the linebackers, which fill in those gaps, and they make a big difference in the running game and stopping the run against every team. And a team, I mean, like the Giants, again, not really they have a couple running backs. None of them are very good. Broncos have a little better running back core, I guess you'd say, but not much better. I don't think so. I know C.J. Anderson has had flashes, but for some reason, I think our defense is going to definitely stop the run. That's the first step, in my opinion. Once you stop the run, then you can start pinning the ears back and applying pressure on Simeon.
That's the thing. Like, your running defense isn't about the front seven, or excuse me, that front four of the line. It's your linebackers and how well they could play it.
Correct.
That is how you measure a run defense. So someone just asked, who are your guys' top 5 quarterbacks in the league right now?
All right.
I'm gonna
Rodgers is up there.
Yeah. I'm thinking Rodgers 1, Brady 2, Matt Ryan, Derek Carr, and Drew Brees.
I don't know if I put them in that order, but that's
there's no particular order.
No, but I like that. That's a good list, actually. I can't argue that. I mean, I think Drew Brees got to be up there 3rd. I think maybe Matt Ryan's 5th. I'm trying to mix them around. More or less 1 and 2. Brady, Rodgers. I liked it. I can't really argue with any of that. That's fantastic. 5 top quarterbacks right now for sure. Those guys. Those are the ones you want to aspire to.
Give it time. Dak's going to be there.
And again, I was going to say he's knocking on that door, on that top 5 door. He's getting close.
I got a pet peeve, and that's when they want to say Carson Wentz is better than Dak Prescott. Well, I live in the Philly area, so of course I'm going to hear that crap a lot. So here's my thing. Dak Prescott had a 104 point whatever. I mean, passer rating's like whatever stat, but the point is he threw 23 touchdowns to 4 interceptions, and he had a bunch of more rushing touchdowns. Carson Wentz, 16 touchdowns, 14 interceptions. Yeah, sure, he had the most passes attempted, but here's the thing. It doesn't matter if the guy's a gunslinger or not. The point is can he win you games? Carson Wentz, he can win you games, but he could also lose you games. Similar to but Dak Prescott, he can win you games, but I haven't seen him in an instance where he's lost us games.
No, I cannot agree with you more when it comes to the winning and losing. I mean, definitely Dak has that instinct to not make the mistake. It's not a Romo-like thing. That's what I see with Wentz a little bit in that sense. I'm not saying he's like a Romo, but I'm saying that he has the physique of a much stronger, bigger quarterback, but he has the tendency of the Romo style gunslinging attitude and mentality. Which it cost you. I wasn't a big fan of that. I know it got us places, but then it would cost us big time. So, I mean, my big difference, and this is what Eagle fans are going to say, and I can't disagree with this either, our offensive line guys. I mean, that has to be a major factor. I mean, if you have Wentz behind our line, it does change things. Now, don't get me wrong. I do not think that he's still not going to be a gunslinging mentality type quarterback, and it might not be, but I think he would look better on the Cowboys, obviously on the Cowboys behind their offensive line, and put Dak in Philly. It's going to be a lot more difficult for Dak. Now, he would have been pretty consistent. He would have thrown a couple more interceptions. I still think he would have made, it would have been a little bit, his stats would have been worse, and I don't think they would have won as much. The Cowboys' talent is a lot bigger and better, and of course, when you put that in that situation. You might see Wentz there. People want to, and then the Eagle fans go overboard and say, "Oh, 14-2, we're undefeated," or something like that, or Super Bowl.
Dude, that's
overdoing it. Yeah, I mean, I would say more like maybe 10, 11 wins. With Wentz, with Dak, we had 13. So
I will say this though, just because and I've learned this because with Roma as our quarterback, it's a team game, and you can't always pin crap on the quarterback. Like when Tony Romo has a 2-4 playoff record. Last time I checked, it wasn't. Yeah, you could say, "Oh, it was the bobbled snap," but it wasn't his fault that the Cowboys blew a lead to the Seattle Seahawks when they were leading in that playoff game.
Yeah,
you know what I mean.
Yeah,
there are so many insinuating circumstances for a quarterback, like the Belichick Brady thing. Who knows if Brady would actually be that good in another system? We don't know.
Yeah, no, I agree. Yeah, no, exactly. And again, with the system that they use, it was like a perfect fit for Brady, for someone like Brady. But when you have, when you have to, again, now if you take him now and put him in another system, I mean, I think he has the knowledge, the experience to maybe be able to be as good as he was, or close, not as good, but close to as good as he is in the Patriot system. But I do agree with you. If you haven't lived your entire career in those kind of systems that you've gotten used to, or that fits you, then it might never work out for some of these quarterbacks like Wentz if he's in the wrong system. I mean, to me, with the system and the situation that Dak is in is perfect for him. I mean, it's perfect, and he hasn't even utilized his running skills, and I don't want him to. But I mean, to me, he reminds me of a Russell Wilson. Quarterback, and we need to keep him healthy. Though we see what happens when you run Russell Wilson crazy, he gets hurt and he gets banged up, and you just can't. How much of a longevity would you have with a quarterback like that?
Exactly.
He's smart, Dak. When he goes down, he dives perfectly. He goes out of bounds. He doesn't take hits, and he doesn't need to. His game is smart, and he plays it very well.
That's why I think, and many people will be like, "Oh, you can't. Why do you say he's the greatest of all time?" I think Peyton Manning's the greatest quarterback of all time because number one, he literally made those teams great. Because if you pay attention, like when Brady was out a whole season, the Patriots go 11-5 without him. When Peyton Manning was out a whole season, they go 2-14. Yeah, I understand Peyton Manning had a lot more whatever playoff exits, but when you take four different head coaches to the Super Bowl, and you take an average Broncos team 13-3, 13-3, 12-4, and 12-4, even though the last one was a bit of an asterisk because he literally was at the end of his career. I mean, with Tom Brady, I'm not trying to not say this guy isn't great by any means. I mean, for 5 Super Bowl rings, that's fantastic, but we have not seen this guy operate in an environment outside of his,
of his norm, of the Belichick system. And again, I think that's more of a Reigns. Again, I agree with you. I'm not knocking Brady at all. I think he's one of the best quarterbacks of all time. I mean, you obviously have to put him in the top 5, I would say. But I'm going to say, though, that I think that with Belichick, I think Belichick is more of the testament of the Patriots' wins are because of Belichick more than it is Brady. I'm not saying that Belichick would have won 5 with another quarterback. He probably wouldn't have, but he would have won 4. He would have won 3. I think it's more. I think Brady somewhere else would have won maybe 1 or 2. I'm saying maybe 3. Depending on the system.
Yeah. Okay. So let's get back to this game. I know we were talking about, but you know what? We got to. It's whatever. It's a special. Who cares? No, but in all seriousness, though. So looking at this game, when I started looking at it, I'm like, okay, what a game to get after facing a tough defense in the New York Giants. I mean,
I agree.
It's this should be, and I'm not trying to be cocky, but it's like I have us winning 31-20 because, look, this is probably the most complex game plan that I've ever come up with. Okay, it's just run the football.
Exactly. I was just gonna say that.
Oh my God! Like you're on the 2-yard line and you passed it 3 times to Dez Bryant. Now, I will say this though. The one, I think it was the first or second pass where Dez was open, I was cool with because it was like, oh, it was just an inaccurate pass. But the other times I was like, what the heck are you doing?
Horrible pass. And again, it was, you got to remember that it was all it was Marinelli called the run option. Now, in my mind, take that a run option out of Dak's hands because what he did is Dak, again, he was already a little off so far in this point of this game, and he still. He saw the mismatch with Dez, and he decided to take a chance with him the first time, and it was a bad throw. Second time he took another chance with him. Those 2 plays should have been I guess you can say the Cowboy fans, the Cowboy Nation would have wanted to see runs on those plays.
I will say this. Dak actually did pretty well with that run pass option on the touchdown to win.
Yes.
I mean,
yes.
that was perfect.
Perfect. It was perfect. And that's what I'm saying is that that's basically the same play he did, but just with Witten. And it was with Eli Apple covering him, the mismatch there. When Dak saw the linebacker come up to go after Zeke as he was stepping into that's when he saw that it was that quick read. He just pulled it right out of Zeke and threw it perfectly to Witten. And again, he tried to do that with Dak, with Dez, and it didn't work. But again, it came, I understand his viewpoint, and again, that's why I got upset with the coaching staff. But in reality, and it is still part of the coaching staff's fault as far as I'm concerned. But in reality, Dak was the one that made the choice on those 2 times to pass the ball rather than run. And if the coaches, if Linehan would have just said, hey, you know what, just get under the center, let's go 2 tight ends, 3 tight ends on the right, and just run it. I mean, that would have taken it out of Dak's hands.
And someone just asked a trivia question. Which QB has the 3rd best passer rating in NFL history? I'm sure you'll know. I'm thinking it's Tony.
Probably Breeze.
It's probably Tony Romo. Because Tony's QBR, or that quarterback rating, or his passer rating is actually pretty good.
I'm going to see the answer. Tobias, he always has some good stuff up there he posts out there. So I'd like to see what he has.
Yeah.
But yeah, okay. No, that's a good question. We'll see. I don't know. That's a good question.
Yeah, it is Tony
there
Romo.
You go.
Yeah, Tony was my guy. I got to tell you a story. Because this game means a lot. Because my first game that I ever saw as a Cowboys fan, I am young. Like I told you, I was not alive when the Cowboys beat the Broncos.
Wow, 92.
Yeah, I was born in 98. So that gives you, how young I am. So first Cowboys game I ever watched was the Thanksgiving game against the Denver Broncos when it was Drew Bledsoe versus Jake Plummer. And we lost because Billy Cundiff couldn't make a kick worth for anything.
I remember.
I was so mad. Now, but I just hope that we can get this Denver thing off our backs.
I'm not too worried about it, honestly. I'm not really too worried.
I'm not worried. Oh yeah.
Yeah. Well, I mean, and I think there's I'm having a couple different reasons for the non-worry. I mean, listen, like you said last week with the Chargers and when they played the I'm going to say the LA Chargers played against the Denver Broncos. The Melvin Ingram, I think is his name, the defensive end. He had his way. He had his way with the offensive line guys. And again, they of course have Bosa and they have other guys. I mean, I'm not saying that we have as good as a defensive front, but we're not too shabby guys. And I think that we are actually. That's where the key is going to come on defense. And I think it's going to start on offense by eating up the clock, running the ball, like you said. We all say. I mean, running the ball is a fundamental must in this game, establishing the run against a weak running defense. They have a great, blitzing, quarterback pressure, coverage, receiver, tight end coverage defense. But we have the best running offense in the league. Really, we do. When you have the best offensive line, the best running back. I mean, in my true opinion, it's not being biased. I do believe that. So I do think that we have a chance to really just do damage up the middle. Okay. And if they did this, okay, DeMarcus Lawrence, when we flip it around, we have DeMarcus Lawrence playing against Melvin Ingram. Doing what Melvin Ingram did last week or something similar to it. I think we have a chance. And again, we have Paya, we have Collins, we have Benson Mayo, we have the rotation of the guys.
Yeah, I mean, I believe the Chargers run a 3-4. I could be wrong. I have no idea what they run because I don't care.
I'm seeing a lot of 4-3 from them so far this season. Yeah, 4-3. Listen, mainly, or they had a linebacker up. Like a Deacon defense that we have on the Cowboys, where we have 3-4.
Yeah, I think the 3-4 and the 4-3. A lot of people think, the 3-4 is better. Look, it doesn't matter because certain people are adjusted to certain schemes. Like DeMarcus Ware was a 3-4 linebacker, but he came in with the I believe he started out in the 3-4 and then we switched back to a 4-3. Whatever. Point is that all it is how you get sacks. Like in a 4-3, you get a lot of what's it called? Pressure sacks.
Pressure.
Yeah,
up the middle
yeah, exactly.
Stunts.
That's what we get. That's what we try to do with our 4-3. Those that run a 3-4, like the Broncos, for example, I believe. Yeah. They try to get coverage sacks. They try to cover like with their no-fly zone, which I'll be honest is outdated. But
definitely in today's football, yeah, I agree for sure.
Yeah. So, what is it? Yeah. So basically, that's how it is. It's like So I think that our defense is good enough to take on this. Like, if you saw the Chargers taking on that Broncos offense, I mean, Trevor Siemian was pressured a lot during that game. He forced throws. Some were touchdowns. Some, I think one was an interception, and he had a couple of sacks. But, I mean, what are you going to do?
Yeah, no, I mean, and again, that's who were you referring to there?
Huh?
Who were you referring to at the end there? I kind of clicked off on my side.
Well, I think the chart. I don't even remember what I said. Like,
No, I'm looking here though, but with the way they play defense, and I do think they switch it up. It looks like they do the 3-4 most of the time, but they do a lot of 5 guys, sometimes fronts. You know, with the linebackers playing up. It just depends, like you said. It's about coverage. It's more of a coverage sack. But with Von Miller, guys, and that's where, you know, I guess I'm flipping it back the other way now. Von Miller, you know, they're gonna, when they run their defense, what do they run? They run a 3-4 or 4-3. The Broncos, I think they run a 3-4, and the linebackers come up. Broncos defense, yeah.
I think they run a 3-4 from what I remember. Because
Von Miller comes up and basically is a stand-up rusher a lot of times.
See,
on the outside.
Now, when it comes to us going up against that Broncos D-line, the biggest test is how good, like, La'el Collins, now, he pancaked a JPP. Yeah. So, I mean, like, that's good, but if he can hold down one of the better defensive players in the league, oh, watch out, NFL, because this offensive line, it's funny. Number one, they were wearing all number 70s. It's just a matter of what number. Right. Which I think is funny. Number two, I think the oldest one is Tyron Smith at 26. I mean, some of them are 26, but point is, this offensive line is one of the youngest, and I want to thank Ron Leary for going to Denver, because we got that. I was hoping he was going to take a bit more.
Collins.
Yeah, exactly. I was hoping that we would get more, like a third-round compensation pick, but I just don't. A lot of people, like, when I say Ronald Leary was overrated, I'm not saying he was per se bad, but he wasn't Pro Bowl worthy.
Yeah. Hold on a second. Wow, you got some. Hold on a second. How about them Cowboys is on here? And what's up? But we got a lot of background static from you, man. All right, I think it's better now. Hello. Sorry. Yeah.
Okay. I don't know if he's here, so.
No, it's all good. I mean, I told him that he could join us, but I think he went through his phone, so that's why he's having issues. But okay. Go ahead, man. Yeah, go ahead.
No, I was just saying, like, Ronald Leary, I think he's solid, but he's not Pro Bowl.
And I agree 100%. I mean, I think that Collins has that. Not Collins, but we have Chaz Green, but that puts Collins on where Free was, and then I think it's going to help. It's going to help La'el Collins' development, thank goodness, that wherever he's playing. He's going to play guard as well. Chaz Green worries me with his injury situation, and I don't really have that much fear with Jonathan Cooper going out there if needed be. But again, when you think of Von Miller playing against our offensive line, you're going to see Von Miller is placed strategically, usually on the side of our weakest or weaker areas when it comes to the tackles. Probably going to be against La'el Collins. So La'el Collins is going to have to deal with Von Miller probably most of the game. And again, and I said this before, when they put 2 tight ends or another tight end or someone to help out in the backfield on a pass play, when they know Von Miller is coming from let's say the right side, you might eventually see Von Miller switch against Tyron Smith even though that's the harder side to get in from. You're only dealing with one guy, and the other way, you're dealing with 2 or 3 guys, in the area, making it almost like a walled off for Von Miller to make a difference, even though we're using more of our guys to take part in and utilizing our players to just block one guy, and so
exactly.
It's one of those things. It's like a chess game. That's I always relate football and chess together because it's a lot of moving pieces. They all have different jobs, but this situation is key. Is if Von Miller gets in there and disrupts the backfield, especially Dak, or even gets Zeke kind of running crazy, which should not happen, guys, because I do think that with our offensive line, I mean, we're the best in the league. I mean, I
want to pose a question real quick because this.
Go for it.
Okay. Name a team other than the Packers in the playoffs that you think has a legitimate shot of beating us.
Other than the Packers, even the
Yeah.
Packers, I think that their defense is where their downfall is. I think this time, if we don't let them get up on 21 points on us, I think
See,
we'll be fine.
that's the thing. We are becoming so good of a football team that like when I look at a game, like normally like, and this was like in the when we were like 8-8, I would be like, oh no, we're not gonna win that. And like this day and age, yeah, I say we're going 11-5, but when
We
you
could be
can,
better than that.
yeah, I think we can.
Yeah.
Yeah. Oh yeah, I don't want to. I don't want to shoot out with Matt Ryan, but
No,
I
no,
mean,
and
but
again, I think that Atlanta and Seattle, Green Bay, those are the three teams we really have to really think about more.
Seattle's overrated. I
Well,
don't
the
know, like.
defense is where it all comes down to it. Again, if we can control the ball and get some points against them, I think we got them. I think we can, because they have no running game.
Mm-hmm.
And so I think once they're already one-dimensional on offense. I think our defense can hang with a one-dimensional team. We're good at hanging with them. You know what I mean? We did it last year with lesser quality, with lesser talent, in my opinion. When you got Carr, you have Claiborne, and even Barry Church, who was probably our biggest loss, I think, out of the three. Wilcox. I think we have a lot of guys there now that I'd say, other than Jeff Heath, although he's proven me wrong recently. I think with our young guys, they're going to be better. How about them Cowboys? Still too loud. You can hear me.
Hold up.
Sounds like he's in the bathroom taking a leak.
I don't know what he's doing, bro.
I just muted it for a second, so
Okay.
It shouldn't be a problem.
My whole thing is that the Cowboys are in this position where they could finally, like seriously, they have a chance against any team in the league. We're not in this. We're not before where it was like, oh, definitely not going to win that game. Like
exactly. No, this is a whole new mindset. And again, it feels good to start it all off with a new quarterback who hasn't shown us any true deficiencies yet, like Dak.
Mm-hmm.
With Romo, we're expecting it to go south one day. And I'm not, no offense to Romo, like we discussed earlier, though, that gunslinging thing will live by it and die by it. And I think that now with see, I always knew from the 90s Cowboys, when we had the offensive line, the Great Wall back then, and Emmett and Troy Aikman and Irving. I think we have more weapons now in some ways than we did back then. So I've seen those years, and I know what we had then. And I see what we have now, and I know what the potential is. And just if the only thing I do see, the most negative thing I see in our offense would be, and again, this goes to the head coach. I mean, I think our head coach, with Garrett's mindset on things, I think he always did that kind of thing. Like Linehan, I think both these guys. I mean, I wish we had a tougher coach, like a Jimmy Johnson style. See, that's where I think we're missing.
I always wanted Jim Harbaugh. And
he's a tough coach. He would have been a good coach.
I love Jim Harbaugh. And someone asked me before, like, hey, if you can get rid of Jason Garrett, who would you get and why? And I said Jim Harbaugh, because he's one tough coach and he doesn't play around.
No, I agree. He's tough, and that's why I like a Bill Cowher style. Like that style too. That old school, just gonna get in your face, and they don't care. They're gonna yell and scream.
I don't. And people are gonna be like, don't disrespect Jason Garrett. No, I actually like Jason Garrett, but just because I like him doesn't mean I don't call out some of the dumb stuff he does.
No, the too much clapping thing. Good. It boils my blood. He should be up there getting mad. Come on, I need some.
No. What I like what he does. He doesn't show emotion in a game.
That's true. He has a poker face in that sense, but it's always a smiley, happy poker face for the most part.
I grew up with the whole Bill, like a bit of the Bill Parcells kind of stuff with the Cowboys. So I'm like, look, don't show emotion, run the ball, and that's it. I'm like, a lot of people will be like, no, you need a coach that's hype and all this other stuff. I'm like, no, you don't.
I think Parcells. I mean, he did keep his cool, but I mean, he not really. I mean, the guy was. I mean, he was a tough coach, Bill Parcells. He was one of the tough old school coaches, and I like that. I don't think Garrett is anything like that. Obviously, Wade Phillips was a marshmallow training camp coach, and the other guys in between. Just nothing since Jimmy Johnson. Switzer was honestly he was just playing with Jimmy Johnson's pieces. That's what he was doing. They had a Dion, and that's what the difference was between us or the Niners making it that year.
Let me tell you something. If the Niners' last championship, that being in '94, was a fluke because they manipulated the salary cap system. Everybody knows that. I even tell my uncle, he's a 49ers fan, and he'll be like, "No, what are you talking about, man? And we won that fair and square." I'm like, "No, you won it." Let me tell you something. If Jimmy Johnson still the head coach of the Dallas Cowboys throughout his 10-year contract, Cowboys would have in that 10-year, the 10-year span, they would probably have 5 or 6 rings because they were that good.
No, exactly. No, without question. Man, they could have 4 in a row. No one would have ever gotten to that point again.
That's why I think that me personally, I think that the Dallas Cowboys, well, you could argue, well, the New England Patriots are the greatest dynasty. Well, the thing with the Cowboys, all that crap that was going on, and the fact that they still won 3 Super Bowls. I mean,
no, I agree, and again, that was with with all the drama, and then again, imagine taking Barry Switzer, guys. He was not a very good quarterback. I mean, quarterback coach. I'm sorry. I'm trying to write to here something for how about them Cowboys back in. Sorry.
Oh crap!
I'm just like I'm trying to do like 3 things at once, but no, Barry Switzer got there based off of Jimmy Johnson's team that he built, and that's pretty obvious. Again, the difference between the Super Bowl, the year that the Cowboys did not make it in that 4-year span, was Deion Sanders. That was the only reason why his Niners made it over us, and they literally had like a 21-3 head start on us. We almost caught them and almost won that game. But yeah, I mean, I think that we need a coach like that. I think that would make the difference in me being more confident as a Super Bowl contender on a consistent basis with this team we have now. If we had a tougher, like Jim Harbaugh, like Bill Cowher, even like a Gruden, that style of coach nowadays. I just think, I'm not saying they're even the best coaches, but it's what we need from the head coach is the bigger deal. We need the anger.
That's the thing, though. I have to say that with Jason Garrett, when I was getting upset during the 8-8 years because I'm like, are you kidding me, man? We should be in the playoffs right now. But then when 2014, I was so mad at him. I was like, man, we're gonna go 6-10. Then we end up going 12-4, and I'm like, okay. I realized that this is a process. There's 2 fan bases. You got the patient ones and the impatient ones, and the bandwagon ones. But that's
that's a whole different group.
I was originally an impatient one. I'm like, I want to win now. But then I realized, wait. Football's a process, and it takes time to build. I mean, I'm at. I mean,
a lot of luck, bro, and a lot of luck. Trust me. And again, I think that I'm trying to go back to this game coming up because this season it's a game.
Yeah, I apologize getting off course.
Oh no, it's okay. It's okay. There's so much to talk about when it comes to the Cowboys, and I mean, I do want to. I'm not really. It's weird. I'm not worried about this game. Against the Broncos.
If we were worried, we'd be talking a lot more about it. We're just having a mellow conversation about our Dallas Cowboys.
And that shows us and shows all the Cowboy fans out there that I mean, I'm not saying we're going to win, we still might lose this game. What I'm trying to say is that the confidence is back, and with the Cowboys, the way of winning, that winning mindset. And again, the Broncos are not a bad team. I do think they're not a great team either. They're not as good as the Giants probably are going to be. I think the Giants can still save their season. I know they got a tough game. I mean, Detroit's not going to be easy. At home, they're going to have to win, and they looked like crap against us, and we made them look like crap in some ways. But also, Odell is a big part of their team, and I do think that the Giants are a kind of team that's going to be eventually could give us a run for our money with the Eagles.
It depends.
And the Redskins don't look that bad either. I'm just saying overall, I think that any of these teams, it's always tough in the East. I don't want to count any chickens before they hatch. Even last year, we went 11 games in a row, or whatever it was, and we still, we're struggling till the end. So, trying to hope we got this win and they lose. And, I didn't want to worry about that. I don't want to do that. I would love to just take it all the way. But again, one game at a time. That's the way the Super Bowls are won.
Yeah, you don't want to suffer Carolina Panthers syndrome where you have this immense pressure on you to perform. Now, of course, the Patriots are in essence immune to this.
Yeah, pretty much. They love it. They need it. Or if they don't have it, they lose.
But see, with us, I want to be in the position it's awesome to lock down everything and not have to worry. But that's where I think our season was lost when we lost in Green Bay to Green Bay in the playoffs. You come out slow. First of all, why do you just give Dak a couple reps, but you don't get Zeke a couple reps? I'm talking about latter 2016.
Listen.
Yeah,
I agree 100%. That's partly is that a coaching issue? See, and that's what I'm saying is that I think
no, yeah, I completely agree with you on that. I think that the issue is that was the first time in a long time where we've had a taste of having everything locked down and not having, like, in 2014, we won a playoff game. Yeah, sure, we started out slow, but we won a playoff game because you know why? We still had a possibility of getting a bye week. So we went full throttle against Washington, and we ended up crushing them 42 to like 13 or whatever. And we ended up winning a playoff game and nearly winning two, if not for a couple things that went, not necessarily Des not catching it, but, a couple bounces going the
There's a lot of
Packers, right?
chances. Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, so it's like comparing being shot to being stabbed.
Yeah.
Yeah, I get you, but yeah, I just think that
Ali.
I just want us to put the pedal to the metal. No days off. We're going full. Yeah, we're going. Like, I could give a crap if we're 14-1 going into the last game. No, we're playing everybody.
Don't stop. It cost us in the past with Romo and his little vacation with Witten, and it cost us the Giants, and then a couple a little bit later, last year again didn't really cost us, but again it just, we took a break with all our players, and I guess the Eagles. I don't think it really had much to do. I mean, there's a lot of other things going on too at the same time. But listen, when you're playing Rodgers and you spot him all those points, what are you gonna do? It becomes
you cannot give Rodgers time. That. Yeah,
we lost it barely. I mean, guys, we came back and tied that game, and they got that huge 31 play. And again, everyone blames Byron Jones. I do not, because that's more of a pressure. That's a pressure situation. They let him run around there for 10 seconds, and anybody's going to get open against the best guy.
Well, I will bring this up: the fact that they did hold on to David. But in all seriousness, no, we're hold up. I don't know why people get on Garrett for for Dak not Skyping, spiking the ball when we were driving, because I knew what we were trying to do. We were trying to drive and win the game. And I that's what I love. You put the pedal to the metal, and you because I want to get back to Denver after I make this point. on that 3rd and 11 or that 3rd and 6 play where Dak got hit before he threw it. Dez was wide open in the middle. He could have taken that down to the Packer 10-yard line.
I agree. No, I remember that. I mean, you go back to every single play that could have made, which is shoulda, coulda, woulda, all that stuff.
It's whatever. 2016's over. Let's focus on this game.
And trust me, I go crazy with that kind of stuff. I go crazy. What's up, Zero God? How you doing? We have another guest. Background's a little bit off, but no, I wanted to say about the Denver Broncos, man. Let's talk about. I wanted to say one last thing about them, at least, that as far as the Zeke in the running game, guys, I think that he's gonna have some. Hello, can they hear me?
I don't know.
Okay, hold on. I don't know what's going on. Hold on.
Yeah, I'm good. I can hear you.
You can hear me. All right, Zero God. It's a little bit. You should have something going on with the microphone, I think, but little odd background noise. What's up, Zero God?
Yo, what's going on? Hello?
Yeah, hello? You there? I'm
here.
No,
I can hear you. I can't.
Yeah. All right, well, hey, that's all good. Listen, no, I was going to say that I think that when Melvin Gordon, and he had some big chunks ripped off, too, that he was able to do. Hold on a second. Zero God, another time, bro. Give me a second. Yeah,
we good?
I had to do that. I'm sorry, Zero God. I just had to do that because it was kind of interfering with the flow here.
Yeah, I gotcha.
Yeah. But no, I was going to say, and I do want to do a group chat with all the Cowboy fans. If we can get all the microphones working, we're definitely going to do that one of these days, very soon.
Yeah, I think, and I'll hope maybe afterwards. I'll just give you because there are certain ways how to phone. You don't have to always send a link. Like, you could invite people, but
right?
That sometimes
it's not working. Yeah, it wasn't working. I was trying to send the email, but it wouldn't let us.
Okay. So getting back to this game. Okay, so
yeah, I mean, I think as I was saying is Melvin Gordon. I think he's going to be running. When he ran against the Broncos defense, he actually did pretty well. And
actually pulled the stats up for that game.
Yeah, pull it up because I know he had a couple big runs, but my point is that his little chunk yards that he got, 3-4 yards at a time, and he did break a couple. But I do think that Zeke is the kind of guy who would take those 3 or 4 yards and is going to take it to 10, 15 yards.
All right, you ready? So this is interesting. So Phillip Rivers, now we're looking at this Broncos defense first of all. Phillip Rivers, 22 for 33, 192 yards, 3 touchdowns, and interception. I will, and like I brought up earlier, this Broncos defense will bait you to throw to a certain point of the field.
We have to avoid that. We have to avoid
that. Exactly.
And nothing against Dak either. We have to avoid it because Dak, because they're so good. And that's what they want us to do, get out of our game plan. The game plan for the Cowboys is not Dak to win the game with his arm, although he probably could if he had to. The idea of the game is to run it and feed Zeke and win it that way.
Yeah, exactly. And then rushing yards, the Broncos limited them to 60. It's probably a bit higher, but like for their leading rushers, Melvin Gordon was limited to 54 yards rushing. He did get a touchdown, but that was a receiving touchdown.
Right. How many catches did he have? I'm curious.
5.
See, and Zeke is going to take advantage of that because they've been working more on that with Zeke out the backfield. So get ready to see 5 or 6 of those to get at least targets to Zeke.
Yeah. So, and I will bring this up because you bring up a good point. When Melvin Gordon scored that touchdown, the middle of the field was wide open. And he managed to get it. Yeah, sure. He had to dive for the touchdown, but the point still stands is that Denver sometimes doesn't account for certain. They don't account for certain players being like they don't expect players to end up doing so good.
Yeah, they kind of relax a little bit. It looks like at a play, and they don't expect the guy to hit the corner with that.
Yeah, and in the fourth quarter, this is what I think summarizes this Broncos team. You're telling me they nearly gave up a 17-point lead? Like
they have a great defense. I mean, a pass defense. A team that's gonna. And that's the other thing. You look at the yards, total yards, right? For the Chargers rushing, and 54, you said, or is that 60 something? I think, but 54 was Melvin Gordon. The point is that they had to abandon their running game because they were down by so much. And that's why it was pass. I mean, I watched. It was during the hurricane, so it was really tough to see. But it was one of those things where. What I got to see was mainly the third and fourth quarter, and it was just a lot of passing by the LA Chargers. So it just we have to avoid that kind of game. And again, even with that, like you said, and they did score like back to back. There was a breakdown in the coverage on a big play, but I'm just saying, like, it was like bang bang. They got 2 touchdowns in a row within like a minute and a half.
I will bring that. This is an interesting stat.
I don't want the Cowboys to go that route. I want the Cowboys to control the game. Let Denver try to come back and let Simeon try to win the game because I think that's where they lose the game.
This is where I think Denver won the game. Pay attention. So they had 321 total yards on offense, 181 passing, 140 rushing. That is where they won the game because if you pay it, because what they did, and until the fourth quarter where they nearly blew it, they utilized a balanced pass run attack to defeat this team. And if you can, Trevor Simeon wasn't required to do a lot, but when he was pressured, he forced a couple throws. Like one ended up being a touchdown, but for all you know, if you force him to throw the ball, it could be an incomplete pass, tipped pass intercepted, straight up intercepted, pick six. Amen. So let's see what else. Also, we have to keep in mind this: Denver does have technically a short week because they played Monday. I mean, I think
good point. Yeah. That's a good point. That's an important point to bring up.
Yeah. So I mean,
our deficiency would be, and we brought this up again. We're gonna bring it up again. The altitude. It's more deadly than most of the players realize. We haven't played there in since 2009, I think it was, and that's going to be, I think three players have played there only 3 players in our current squad have played in Denver. So guys, that's going to be tough. It's going to be tough for these these rookies to Denver for the mile high altitude. And it's going to really win them faster. And I just hope, the Denver receivers, the Denver players, they know how things are. Now, they know their lungs are used to it. Cowboys, they're going into this and they know what they're in for. So I just really hope they're preparing properly for this.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, not every Broncos player is immune to this, but so fatigue.
They're used to it though, but they're used to it,
Yes, yeah, I agree with you, but fatigue is going to be a lot more common. Maybe some of the players on Denver that they recently acquired, maybe, but I'm going to just go into this assuming Denver is A-okay with this. But if that's why running the football is going to be extremely important because they can get winded slightly easier here. I'm not saying they are immediately not immune to it. But the running game is so key in this matchup. It's not even funny. You have to pound Denver as much as you can and open up the passing game. I don't understand this whole pass and open up the run. You never do that. That never works.
It's reverse. That's the wrong way. You
Yeah,
don't
exactly.
And again, I can see, I know the way Scott Lennon likes to do his offense here. He's going to probably try, everyone's saying, oh, they're going to run. The Cowboys going to run. And guess what he's going to do? Play action, shotgun, pass. He's going to do 5 passes, and he's going to do like 4 runs. I mean, that's what you're going to see him start the game off, unfortunately. And that scares me. I don't like that kind of start. I would like to see just let's get old school football and just run the ball. We have the best damn line in the league. Probably the best running back in the league, in my opinion, for sure. We run the ball. We control the clock. It's not just running the ball and getting the stats or running the ball and getting the touchdowns. It's about taking up the time on the clock, putting the pressure on the go onto the Broncos offense. That's what we want. We want to pressure the offense through our offense. With our defense, but through our offense. And that's what I've always said. When they drafted Ezekiel Elliott, that was my big thing. I said, that's how we're going to win games. By running with Zeke, controlling the game, controlling the clock. That works. I know it hasn't been seen in Dallas in years. DeMarco Murray did it, but for 1 year. But I'm telling you, we haven't seen that kind of control. We've had other, we had Jones and we had Barber, but we haven't had a consistent full-time guy, a superstar guy like Zeke.
Yeah, exactly. I mean, the only guy that I could say that's, other than DeMarco, Julius Jones, yes, he's that one-hit wonder. I mean, he had a fantastic career lined up for him, but then he got injured and he couldn't.
Well, but that's the thing though. He's not even that kind of back if you think about it, because he's not big enough.
I agree with
exactly.
you.
Zeke is like a once in a 2 decade kind of running back.
Yeah, I completely agree with you. I mean, but when Julius Jones reminded me a lot of DeMarco Murray. If you were to ask me who does he remind me more of, DeMarco Murray or Zeke? Zeke is probably, in my opinion, the greatest running back prospect since Adrian Peterson came into the league.
I agree.
Yeah, and a lot of this is funny because when we drafted him, I was like, man, this is gonna be overkill, man. I was like, oh my god, this is gonna be greatest show on turf 2.0. I mean, yeah, sure, Romo wasn't at the helm, but still 13-3.
I mean, nobody could predict this. Nobody could predict this. And again, we think I never forget Zeke's face in that play against Seattle in preseason when Romo hurt his back.
Oh yeah,
Zeke was like, he got so pissed because he knew that this is a season. He probably thought it in his head. He's like, season's over. I can't believe this just happened to me right now, right in front of me. It was his 3rd play. It's like incredible, 3rd play of the preseason for Romo, and this is what happens. So. I will say that, Zeke was freaking out right there in the field. If you watch that play, you can see it. But I think that, we all freaked out as a Cowboy Nation.
I was like, okay, this is so horrible because I was on vacation and I get this notification. Tony Romo injured. And I was like, oh my God. And I was like, oh no. I was like, oh man, this could be his year. And I was like, oh, he could probably take us to the promised land. I'm like that. But I was not doubting Dak. I was more like, I don't you could say well, you're kind of doubting him. I was in the camp where I was like, I think he can lead us, but I don't know how far he can take us. And he proved. I was like, and what the saying, once you go Dak, you never go back. I was like, forget you, Tony. I'm sorry, this guy's taking us to the promised land.
No, once we got to week 8 and 9 and 10, and there's not even a question anymore. I was still always like, Romo was still, you can't lose your spot to injury. Well, I changed my mind. You can, and that's the thing is that I will say this, and I'll never forget. I was at a concert with my fiance. The first game of the season last year, preseason, against the Rams, the opening game in LA. For them, and when I watched we watched the game on my cell phone. So we were watching this game, and I'm watching. At that point, Kellen Moore already snapped his ankle, so he was done. And Romo they were easing him back. They haven't started him yet. He's going to start the week after or 2 weeks later. And there's this guy, rookie Dak from the 4th round. And I watched this guy play. And again, I know it's vanilla on both sides, offense, defense.
Oh yeah,
Dak dominated. Dak dominated that game, and his passes weren't just his passes were not vanilla. His passes were like dead zone, dead bullseyes to Dez's hands. That touchdown.
This is funny. Yeah, because it's funny because I was still on vacation at the time, so I'm going out getting something to eat. My mom texts me. She's like, "Yeah, we just First she texts me, "Oh, Lucky Whitehead returned for a touchdown." I'm like, "Oh, cool." Then she's like, "Who's this Dak guy? He's doing so good." I'm like, this can't be no, because I thought, I thought Dak was gonna be oh, he'll be okay, but it'll take some time. But I was like,
Yeah.
oh my god, like I was like, oh,
I couldn't believe it. I was telling my fiance, and I mean, when we do a live stream on Sunday for the game, she'll be there for it. I'm telling you guys that
Do we know if it's America's Game of the Week?
Oh, I don't know. It's
It's
definitely
on
going to be.
Fox.
It's on Fox, and it's 4 o'clock, and it's usually going to. I think it's pretty much nationally televised, and unless you have a local team in the area that is blocking it out.
Yeah, I always go off of the if it's a 4:25 slot on Fox, it's probably America's Game of the Week.
There's 3 games. Yeah, there's 3 games, and it just depends. The other 2, if it's like Arizona or something like that. If you live near in Arizona, whatever, of any of those 4 cities, you're probably not going to get the game. But if you're anywhere else, you got the game. I know I got it here in Central Florida, so we're good.
Yeah,
good to go.
I mean, I think so. Oh my god! Like we keep like this is how relaxed we are. Like this is how confident we are. But
I mean, but in a serious way, I mean, how did the Denver Broncos beat us?
That's my thing. It's like what when that's how I look at a game. It's like okay, how like when we were going into the Giants game.
Well, stop Zeke is number 1.
Yeah, but that's the thing.
How do you do it? That's the question.
Exactly. I mean, like, but not only that,
if you put 8 guys in the box and you go and you stop Zeke and you really stop him, meaning 2, 3, 4 yards at most, no big breaks. Okay, well then you're going to be singling. They're going to put pressure. That's what they're going to try to do. They're going to try to do it so that they don't allow Zeke to get a big break and run for a 20 or 30 yard touchdown, a gain, and then also you try to then you have to use that kind of run look pass offense in a way. At times you're gonna have to sneak some of them in there, obviously. But I want the Cowboys to try to establish the run and force the Broncos to bring all 8 guys in there, and then we can. And Dak's smart enough to call the audible to see the mismatches, and if he can be just somewhat halfway on, not like the Giants. I think we will take those single coverages all day with Dez, with Williams if he's there, with Bryce Butler if he's there. Got Swift here. We got Cole Beasley with the catch.
Like when you look at this offense, it's so stacked. It's like okay,
and we haven't talked about Witten yet or Zeke out of the backfield.
It's like okay, it's like we could stop Zeke, no problem. But they got Dez, they got like I said, I believe like in some previous live stream, I said like some people like on ESPN first, they're like, oh, Dez is washed up, like
Dez has been Dez has been the healthiest. And all is probably since like 2012 or something.
Listen,
2014.
Your best ability is your availability, and the fact that I know he was hurt for some time last year, but here's the thing: Dez is not the he's not the Antonio Browns or the Calvin Johnson where like he is the go-to guy, but the way we play our style of offense, we don't force the ball to him.
Correct. Right. And that's the thing that he has to understand, which he's matured. But he has to understand that, I'm not going to get the ball all the time. I'm not going to get every target. And that's what he was really frustrated when he was not getting them with Romo, because he was always the guy the go-to guy, because we were in a passing offense, passing first offense. So with Romo, he needs that ball. He has to have that ball. That's where he makes his livelihood. That's where he changes the game.
Exactly.
But now with this new team, you realize how easily he's just kind of flowed right in since last year.
He's like, yeah.
And he's like, just give it to me when you see me open, kind of deal. And sometimes he wants it. Sometimes because he is open. Sometimes you might have to call for it, but to force it into him, he's not upset anymore if you can't get it to Dak. If Dak cannot get it to Dez understands. There's other people, especially if they're moving the ball and they're doing other people are getting the ball. Dez does not care anymore. He used to care, but he doesn't care anymore. He's matured a lot. I do think that helps him.
Let's look at some of the comments real quick. Let's see. Will Kane defends us. He's cool. No, I don't really like Will Kane. Will Kane, okay, look, I'm not trying to get into politics. I think he's an idiot. But when it comes to the Cowboys, he's such a homer. It's ridiculous. The only time I actually agreed with him was when they were defending Romo being celebrated at the Mavs game and the whole Zeke thing. That's the only 2 times I've agreed with him on anything. But
all these sports guys, and same as Stephen A. Smith. I mean, look, they're just doing it for ratings, guys.
I know it's a show.
I don't even look at. I know. And again, I watch it, and I always have one guy taking this side and one guy taking this side. And it's always the same crap. And again, we can do this now too, but we're trying to explore the situation, the Cowboys, the team, the season, and the the as realistically and non-biased as possible.
Yeah,
but
exactly. Like I could say I could just be a complete I don't know, I could be like an EDP where it's like I'm always negative. I'm gonna be like, nope, we ain't winning this game. What are you talking about? I mean, we have the best offense in the league, but who cares?
And we can
Let's
play
see
two
who
different
else.
sides on this every time. I mean, I do try to analyze it like the way you just said. You know, look at how Denver beats us, and I think Denver, they beat us by making us one-dimensional. Then again, I think the Giants kind of did okay making us one-dimensional for the most part, and we still were able to beat them. But I don't know if that's going to happen with Denver in Denver with the altitude, with the crowd. So we have to, and I'm saying worst case scenarios here, you know, that we have to, if we get stopped and Zeke gets 50 or 60 yards, which I don't think he will. I can't.
I need him to.
I'm sorry.
I need him to. He's on my fantasy team.
No, exactly. I mean, look, 80 yards should be no problem for him. That gets him the record. You know, no running back has ever done that 16 straight games to start their career. To be able to get 80 yards or more in every game. I think since the Giants game, since the first Giants game, I think he's gotten over 80 every single game. And so
let's see what this. Dak has the potential to be truly great. I can't believe how lucky we were to get him. And I think
everything has worked out for that.
I think Dak can definitely become the next Brady. I don't want to say he is yet, because the dude's 24 years old.
Yeah, you can't put that much pressure on him. No way, next Brady. I will say he could be the next Russell Wilson, and I'll take that for again Russell Wilson without all the running. I think he's a better version of Russell Wilson, or we can be developed into a better version of Russell Wilson, because he has the ability to really. We haven't seen him run that much, and that's a good thing, guys. We need to keep him just giving the ball. We got Zeke, okay, and again, they had Marshawn Lynch. And they like to use that run option a lot more. I think a lot more with the quarterback. They used to use that when Lynch and Russell were there.
I think Dak had the greatest rookie season ever.
He did. Statistically in every way possible. Yeah.
I think that his style of play is so unique. I can't and I said
who do you compare him to exactly? Yeah.
I can't compare him to anybody because you could say he reminds me of Donovan McNabb. He reminds me of Russell Wilson.
And Tobias makes a great point because Dak doesn't have Bill Belichick. And again,
exactly.
If we had Bill Belichick on this team and Dak had him, he might be better than Brady.
Are you kidding me?
Is better than
Yeah, but let's see. What else do these people say?
Tobias and Ali make great points on here. And
Belichick is the reason. Yes, I completely agree with you. Belichick is the reason Brady is so good. We said
that earlier. Remember that we said that basically Brady was a product of Bill Belichick. Bill Belichick is the brainchild of that. Without Brady, you said they were 11-5. And again, that's not because they have a great quarterback, backup, or whatever it may be. It's more because of the brain of Belichick. Brady is a great talent to fit that scheme, and that's why he was the best. I see him a chimp. He could chimp to 11 wins. Again, I wouldn't call Brady that far. Brady has a lot of skills. I mean, to be able to bring your team back, that's not Belichick. That was Brady.
I think it's a mix of the Falcons being complete idiots.
I agree. Yes, and Brady picking them apart with the right momentum, the right timing. Everything just worked out perfectly for them.
Different things
had to work out for them to get to that point.
And what's funny, what's funny is, and I'm thinking, God, that wasn't the Cowboys, because I would have probably committed suicide. I would have killed myself. I would have been like, oh my God, we did this.
I wouldn't be able to show my face ever again in the history of the world.
Oh my God, I was like,
that hurts. That's painful.
But I actually have a quick question for you, because this is an interesting. One of my friends asked me this question. Would you rather go one and done in the playoffs, or would you rather lose in the Super Bowl?
That's such a hard one, man. That's a hard one, because I've always thought that too. Like I haven't experienced a Cowboys. I've been alive when the Cowboys lost, but I was like 3 or 4. So I've been alive for in the Super Bowl. I'm saying so. I've only been around for wins. I cannot imagine what it would be to lose. It would be so heartbreaking. I haven't experienced that as a Cowboy fan. So I would say one and done.
Yeah, I would say.
I don't want to see the highlights at the end of the season of the next year.
I agree, Tobias. Yeah, like I said yesterday, if the Cowboys were the Falcons, I would have thought to commit. Yeah, I would have been like, oh my God, like Stephen A. Smith would have had a field day on the Cowboys. Yeah. No, but so I think, look, the most important, I talk about, we can make the playoffs, but
that's true though, Tobias. It does depend on how the Super Bowl goes.
Yeah, exactly. But
if it's a good, if we lose it with because a missed field goal or something like that in the end by Bailey, I would cry. No, I would cry, but it's livable.
Yeah, because it's like you were in the position to win, unlike being up.
It makes it that much more painful though when you think about it. Oh my God, we were just like a kick away from winning the Super Bowl, and that's the entire season down the toilet. Like that hurts too.
I think when you're looking at this game, if we can get the 2-0, Now I'm gonna stay with the constant Zeke's playing the whole season.
Yeah, same
So
here. I mean, so the percentages are all in the favor of Zeke playing the entire season.
Okay, so looking at the future past this. I mean, yes, we got to take this one game at a time, so our mentality could change. So I think when
we
it
get
comes
the Cardinals next, I think Monday night.
Yes, and what's fantastic. I mean, it sucks because
I'd rather have a full Larry Johnson and the whole team there, but yeah, they're going to be struggling in their running game. And I have Carson Palmer in our fantasy league. Yeah, horrible.
No, but
at least this first game.
I think what we need to do is get as many wins as possible because the end of our schedule is tough as all can be.
Definitely.
So
middle is tough too. The whole damn schedule is tough.
I predicted before we hit our bye week we would go 3-2, but that's because
without Zeke.
Yeah, that was with Zeke, and I said without Zeke 9-7, 10-6. But
I see, for the whole season.
Yeah. But my thing is that when you're looking, but I predict the Giants to beat us, so I was wrong on that.
Well, we're up one then on your prediction.
So, yeah. So if we could beat Denver, we got Los Angeles. That should be we have Arizona. I can't.
We'll get the Cardinals, we get the Rams, we get the Packers, and the Niners. I mean, Packers are by far the toughest team left. And again, the one team I wanted to beat out of all 06 was the Giants. That's the most important one.
Let me tell you something. Yeah,
I mean, the Niners we're going to beat, and I think we'll beat the Rams, even though they have a good defense. That's right there, 3 wins, and out of what, 6 games?
I mean,
and we have Denver, Arizona, Green Bay.
Yeah.
So, I think Arizona is next because of all the injuries and stuff, problems that we're having. I mean, that's 4 wins. Shouldn't be that. I can definitely say 4-2 without even hesitation.
If we can go into the bye week at
5-1.
Yeah, I could see. Well, no, wait.
I mean, it'll be 4-1. You're right. 4-1.
If we go into the bye, it also depends on how our division plays out. So hypothetically, if we're 4-1 and all the other teams are like 2-3-2, whatever, we're in good shape. I mean,
no, I agree. And again, already we got, we'll keep an eye on the Eagles. I mean, they get the Chiefs this weekend. It's gonna be a tough game for them. I think the Chiefs are gonna win. You get the Giants. They have nothing, not that easy Monday night against Detroit, although they have something to prove. If Detroit can play if they can have a good game, the Giants can play like the way they did against us. Detroit is gonna beat them. And again, that'd be nice to see if those teams can. Who does Washington play this week?
They play the Rams.
That's another one. Rams probably can. I mean, it's gonna be tough.
No, not at home. At the Rams.
At LA, yeah. So I mean, I think it's gonna be tough for both. I think that's a tough game. That's gonna be a close one. But I think that Rams could definitely win that game. And if we win and these other teams lose, that'd be the best thing right there to start it off.
So I think, and I know like some teams, it's week 1 going into week 2. The team that scares me the most in terms of in the NFC is probably the Falcons. Mainly because, again, their offensive power is on another level. But who knows? There is still a chance they have that Super Bowl hangover. Yeah. And I think
they look very good against the Bears.
Yeah, let me tell you something. If you're about to lose to the Bears, man,
6 yards away or whatever, he was right there in the goal line. I mean, they win.
No, but look,
go ahead.
No, but Rams got Aaron Donald back. Oh yeah, I think,
he's back up. He's playing this week. Aaron Donald.
I think
down with the Skins.
Down with the Skins. They almost lost. I hope. Look, if we can go 2-0, and if we can go 2-0, and if the
Giants lose to Detroit.
We could come. I hope we come out of this week undisputedly first place. I know it's 2-0, and it's still early.
I'm thinking. Look, Chiefs are gonna. I predict Chiefs will beat the.
That's what I predicted too.
Right. I mean, it's not really. That's the actual. That's not an upset pick. That's what it should be. If Cowboys win, Eagles lose. That's we're 2-0. They're 1-1, and then we have the Redskins. If they lose to the Chargers and the Giants lose to the Lions. That'd be nice. That's what I'm looking forward to. That's what I look forward first and foremost. After the Cowboys, it's those other games. And then, we move on to the Cardinals Monday night. We got a nice rest for them. They're injured. They're wobbled. We can definitely win. It's in Arizona. That's my brother's team, so I'm going to hear a lot of stuff from him.
God.
I'm thinking of having him on this stream maybe if he wanted to do it. I doubt he will. Funny. But then after them, we got the Rams, Green Bay, San Francisco, and then after San Francisco, it goes to, I think it goes to Philly, or maybe we go Washington. We go Washington.
I can pull it up real quick.
Yeah, Washington. I think it's Washington, and we get Philly.
Let me see. Cowboys.
We get. I know we get Kansas City and Atlanta.
There we go. I got it.
Crazy.
Okay, so this Okay, so after the Redskins game, because we have a lot of primetime games, which is good for me, so because I want to see them on TV. But so we got Kansas City, then we got Atlanta.
Right.
I mean,
Tough games.
that's a tough stretch. Then you got Philly on Sunday Night Football. You got the Chargers.
That's a short week.
Yes, and that you got the Chargers at home for Thanksgiving. Got the Redskins again. You got to go to New York.
That's a week. That's a Thursday game. Yeah.
You got to go to New York, and then you have to go to Oakland.
There. Yeah. Oakland and Seattle.
I think we're gonna need some help from other teams, mainly. Well, I think we'll be fine.
Why can't we be that team? You know, we be the team that gives help to other teams, because I think we're getting to that point. The Cowboys are getting to that point, and this is all assuming we have Zeke. You know, we get to that point where we're the team that everybody has to now be afraid of and saying this is a loss against the Cowboys. You know, kind of that attitude. You know, because I do think that and again, I see what some of the people are saying here. I agree. You know, Tobias, a lead. Dano, what's up, Dano? But I do think that, you know, I'm not going to look too far. That's way too far into the future. I do agree that we have to get our wins right now. We definitely have to get our wins right now, though, without question.
It's a bad habit that I have. Like, it's like, oh, we win this game.
I do that too. I do that too.
It's every
last year taught me a lesson. Let's not even look forward into that, because last year I was thinking this is gonna be the one we're gonna lose. And every time we kept winning. And again, I'm not saying that we're gonna win every game, because we're definitely not. But I do see us. You know, again, we play the way we played against the Giants with Dak on an uptick in his ability to, you know, be more confident in throwing the ball and just getting better at it. Again, it's the mile high altitude is going to be it's going to hurt us, but hopefully we can prepare for that. And if we can do that, you know, I do think that, I guess, going game by game, I'm going to give my prediction. And actually, when you said 11 points, it's funny because I said it last night. I said two different scores and they both were 11 points. I think it was I had said, well, actually no, I'm sorry, it was 34 to 21, I think, was one of my scores. That was at most. That was at most. And I think the other one was 24-13. That was my.
Yeah, that's a lot of points.
Yeah, that's 11 exactly. That's the one I was kind of sticking in my mind. I'm like 24-13, or, you know, it would be like about where I think it's going to fall if we control the game. And, you know, we're going to still, you know, we're going to be punting, and it's going to be tough. It's not going to just be a blowout. I don't think we're going to get up to 30 points. But if we do, I do think, again, this is one of those things where I think that if the Cowboys do take control of the game, and it ends up being, you know, by halftime or third quarter, you know, we are obvious control. You know, the Broncos are just passing, pass. I think that's when we're going to score like a 31, 34 points. They'll score probably a late touchdown, maybe 17 points. Maybe they'll score 24, but we will have control of the game, you know. And I do think that's you know, that's the way we're going to look this week. That's my prediction. Yeah. So about 24-13 is my prediction. You said 31-20. Yeah, that's a good number too. I could see that easily happening. Yeah, for sure. Well,
yeah. I'm trying to see what Tobias is. What he says. Answer my question. I want to know what you think.
What's the question?
Yeah, say the question. We'll answer, brother.
Yeah, and yes, Tobias. That's the thing, is that, you know, the Falcons almost lost to them again. Green Bay's tough. Atlanta's tough. Seattle's tough. Oakland's tough. Our division is tough. I mean, Kansas City's going to be tough. We have so many tough games this season. That's why it's hard to say more than 12 wins, you know?
A question. After watching Zeke's off-the-field activities and the possible suspension, okay, I'm thinking that this is going to be a two-part post. Yeah, ... Are you going to ask if we think he should be suspended? I'm hoping it's not the question.
Well, what was off-the-field activities? And I mean, over the whole time span, I'll tell you right now that here's the thing. What I believe, if the NFL never attached domestic violence to it, even though they said it was a conduct issue, they did specify it was based off of only one thing, and that was the DV. That's one account.
I would have a different position if the league said, "Oh, we're suspending him for X, Y, or Z."
Correct. Exactly. I would say give him 2 games at most for the boob gate.
Here's the question. So if you knew Zeke was going to have the suspension and all the activities in like the offseason, with the 4th pick in the 2016 draft,
I still take Zeke.
I'd still take Zeke. Yeah, Jeopardy music. Anytime. I saw that. No,
I agree, because I mean, Jalen Ramsey, don't get me wrong, he's fantastic back there.
A lead, he put a Jeopardy music, and then we answered it right away, and he deleted it.
Yeah, no, that's. I mean, I think that's easy, because, and I'm not saying that nothing wrong with Bosa over Jalen Ramsey. I think Ramsey is quality. I was thinking that we were going to draft him, but Zeke, is a game changer. And even if we miss him for 6 games, look, I truly believe, based on the evidence that's out there, that he is innocent of this. I think she should be charged with something, Tiffany Thompson, for all the crap that she's done for a false report. I mean, it's a lot of proof that shows that more than it shows anything he's done. So, but again, keeping that out of it, I think that Zeke, even with 6 games, even if he gets hit with 6 games, and it hurts his brand, which is where it's the worst for him personally. But that's the thing, is that for me, I think that I was still 6 games, and again, I was calculating this earlier today. I'm like, that's like 850 yards for Zeke. That's a chunk of his. That's a good chunk of his season, percentage wise, for his career, everything. So I mean, it's just like that's 1,000 yards almost. I still take Zeke.
Yeah. The whole thing with the Zeke thing is like, first, it's somewhat about domestic violence, but my whole issue is if someone's doing something, put out evidence and prove it right. Like when the NFL said, "Oh, we have this 160-page report that says Zeke's guilty, and we have all this evidence and whatnot." It's like, okay, then release it.
They actually hid the evidence, and that's their issue.
That's the thing. Yeah, I was gonna say, I know why they're probably hiding the evidence, because either there is none, or they want to hide it till they get to court.
Well, again, they can't, because there's already been to court. That's the thing.
Yeah, exactly. Right. That's the thing. Yeah.
They've already seen it, and again, they've put everything on the table to try to stop Zeke from getting this injunction in the first place. And trust me, there's nothing there. There's nothing that's anything that they basically admitted that they used their own subjective, I guess it would be subjective opinions on what the situation was. Even with all the other stuff, like the bias is saying, boobgate, drugs, parties, and all that stuff came out because Zeke testified under oath, unlike the accuser, unlike Goodell. And he had testified under oath and told about the drug use, told about the abortion, told about all those things, which, again, that's more, again, I don't have an issue with any of those things. That's what seems like, it's something that is nothing compared to being called what he's being called now, to ruin his career. And again, I think that he's putting all his cards on the table while the NFL is holding all their cards away from the table, and they're trying to hide it from the judge. The judge saw right through it. And just because the NFL has more money, more power than Zeke and the NFLPA, and they do, still, the judge, read right through them. And this appeal is basically written already, the rejection to this appeal. It's just a matter of when the judge puts it out. And again, it's the bias is saying here, the drug. You talk about drugs, you're talking about, I know he did Molly, I know he did cocaine, and of course marijuana. I don't really, as long as he don't get caught with it, and I say that in the sense of, and I'm talking about the weed thing seems to be the
last one. Okay, the first 2, okay, maybe, but the last one, not that bad. I've done it. I've done it before. It's nothing.
And the thing is that with the other 2 drugs, the cocaine and Molly, I think that sounds to me like he was more like in a party atmosphere in college. He didn't do that in the NFL in his daily life. He did that in trial and error kind of deal. And it's unfortunate he did that, but he did it. Now, as far as the weed thing, he was in that marijuana dispensary in Seattle. He probably does smoke. Look, again, I agree with you. Not the worst thing in the world. And nothing, again, it's just like beer, in my opinion. But at the same time, though, it is illegal in the NFL. He can't be that dumb.
I understand that. Like, I mean,
he needs to stay away from it. Be away from the dispensaries. They were actually asking Jason Garrett. The media asked him, he's going to talk to his team about the dispensaries this week, and he goes, no. I don't know if you want to believe that or not, but I would take Zeke aside and say, Zeke, just make sure you don't go to the pot shops.
Look, listen, I've done it, and it's nothing bad. It's like, okay, come at me, Roger. What are you going to do? Suspend me? No, but it's nothing bad. It's like they over exaggerate. But here's the thing: I'm not saying they don't have the power by any means to not say do it, because they're a private company. They're allowed to do that.
Right.
But
it's still illegal, probably, wherever federally illegal. So then, so what I'm trying to say is that they have the law in their favor. But the difference is that he hasn't failed any drug tests. So that's number one. No matter what, NFL never failed a drug test. That's number one. And when I talk about the severity of the drug necessarily, it's more. And again, I see what he's saying. Like he's scared if he's high at a party. I think his problem is drinking more. He's more putting himself in clubs and in areas and bars where there's more violence going to be taking place. That is more scary than anything to me. So I think that he does need a life coach. I do agree to lead on that. I wish he had somebody that could pull him. I wish Dak would pull him more to the side a little bit more. But at the same time, is it his job? It's not his job. It'd be cool.
My whole issue. Wait, what's?
I just wish that we were able to kind of keep him at bay. But at the same time, guys, and this goes to everybody in the chat and everywhere else, so you're listening as a repeat or whatever. My big thing is the NFL suspending him. You can't say I'm spending for domestic violence and label him a woman beater, and then at the same time say, oh yeah, because of these other little things like drugs, like pulling a woman's blouse down, who then repeatedly pulled her blouse down on her own after and before the video clip, but nobody wants to show that. And I'm not saying that's okay for him to do. It still looks bad. 2 games, guys. 2 games for conduct detrimental to the league. I understand that, but don't lie and say it's because of domestic violence when there's zero proof. There's more proof that she lied, and they took her side.
My biggest pet peeve afterwards is not just, well, it is the Zeke thing because that really ticks me off, but it's also you have a guy in Joe Mixon that was on camera and punched this woman in the face, you know, breaking several bones in her face, and you're telling me that he can get it off scot-free only because he wasn't in the league beforehand?
That is the rule. That's the collective bargaining agreement where that is allowed, but then it's not allowed. But then Goodell has the power to then, if you've done anything the first day you're in the NFL, and Dak was pulled over for drunk driving a week before he was drafted, which lowered his draft as well. So again, if he was drunk a day after that draft, he's suspended 2 games probably. So I'm just saying, you know, that I guess that's just the way the rules are of the league. And yes, it sounds horrible that someone could do that live on camera and still be playing in the NFL, but yet Zeke has zero proof against him, and yet just some woman's accusation. And this is all to cover up that this all roots from the Ray Rice, from the Josh Brown.
Yes,
it's all roots from that. It's them to say, hey, look, everybody in the world of America and everywhere else, you know, listen, look what we've done to stop these crazy men from beating women. And honestly, you know, they miss the ones that do it, and the ones that don't do it, they set up to make an example of. The NFL lost both ways on this thing, and they just.
I think that this is an insult for those that actually have been affected by domestic violence.
Exactly, 100% true. The ones that really been affected are the ones that, you know, the ones that won't be believed when it happens. You know.
That's what sucks, because like now you have people coming out. Like me personally, I know that this is messed up for Zeke. I know that this is everything that's coming out is a complete fake. But I know there are people that, because of this limelight on this case, they're gonna say, "Oh, but she's making it up."
They all lie, right?
And then everybody else.
You also can't say. But you also can't say they all don't. That's the attitude it seems at the NFL and a lot of the society in general is that, oh wait, no, she's never lying. And that's where people get caught up, you know. And you got to really look at the evidence. It's a case by case thing, you know. And that's what you just can't. People say if someone says that they were beaten, a woman says they were beaten, and you automatically say that guy's evil. You know what I'm saying? Then you're not being fair with the evidence. Now I'm not saying he's evil or not. I'm just saying that. But people tend to just take that side regardless. So if you go against, they say, well, let's look at the evidence. If you say let's look at the evidence, all of a sudden you are supporting a woman beater, and that's what the NFL wanted to avoid. Which is ignorant when you think about it. It's really ignorant. You talk about I'm about facts, truth, reality.
Oh, same.
Yeah, I mean, I'm all about all these logical things, and we need to stick with these things when we're looking at. You can't go on emotion. Like if there was video of Zeke doing that, suspend him for the whole damn year.
Oh yeah.
But if there's no evidence proving this, and again, you see all the other fans in the league screaming and yelling, saying, "Hey, we don't care, woman beater, thug." Because they like to jump on the you know the bandwagon of hating
the haterade, the haterade bandwagon. That's what I call
exactly, and that's what it is. It is that, and they do that, and they don't care if it's ruining this man's career. They don't care if one day it could be them. They don't care if it could be one of their players one day being in that same situation.
I said this before the whole probably a month before the Zeke Elliott suspension. I said, if he gets suspended, don't be surprised if this opens up a Pandora's box where players get suspended left and right off of accusations.
And that's why this is going to the federal judge right now. And that's why this is going to be checked into in and out. And the NFL is trying to say, see, their complaint is, and that's why they sent their appeal. Their appeal is saying that we are appealing this because it's hurting the NFL's image about domestic violence. Can you believe the backwards thinking this is? And so you're hurting the NFL on this because the public wants to see domestic violence curtailed, and the judge is advocating this in a way. And that's what the NFL is kind of the way it's written, the legalese in this is that's what they're saying, and it's going to be obviously denied. I mean, everything they're trying to say about irreparable harm is actually about what Zeke is saying, and the judge already agreed with Zeke that he's the one with the harm being caused towards him right now, and not the NFL. The NFL is not being harmed by Zeke playing. And that's what the NFL is grasping at straws. So it's just a preliminary kind of thing. He's kind of you've got to go through this.
And I want to emotions. I want to let people know that when it comes to the whole law stuff, that don't expect this to go to the Supreme Court, because the Supreme Court rejects most cases that instead of taking.
You're right.
That's basic justice 101. The thing that I'm studying now. It's so like, yeah, gotcha. Sorry about that. But
and I just want to say real quick, Tobias though I want to say I did see that. I think that was a while back when what was written. by Drew Pearson that says, yeah, advice to Ezekiel Elliott is go find teammate Jason Witten and do everything he does. Listen and learn like I did with Staubach. Real talk, and he's 100% right. And that's what Zeke needs to take a approach from himself and say, I need to, whatever. This woman lied, and I'm in a bad situation now. But you know what? I have to still. I've done other things that are kind of knuckleheaded, and I still and I look bad. And it's not about the NFL. Who cares? Okay, let's say he says forget about the NFL. He's saying my image. I don't want to ruin I want to be a better person overall, look better. I don't want to be pulling shirts down. I don't want to be speeding. I don't want to be drunk in the club. I don't want to be punching someone in the club, or someone even if it's not his fault, even if it's self-defense. You don't want to put yourself in those situations. And guys, me as a 41-year-old knows better, but I don't care. You're 21. You still know. Especially a superstar. You gotta be
19
told.
years old. I know better than that.
There you go. I mean, you have to know to especially when you're in that position, limelight. And again, that's where I'm pissed with Zeke the most, is that since he got drafted, he was under investigation. Since July or August of last year, he's been investigated by the NFL. And all these months, all these other little issues have come about. You go look at dispensary. You could look at the speeding. You could look at the bar fights. You could look at the pulling down thing in March. The breast thing. I mean, you look at all these things put together, right? And and how can he put himself in those situations? And most of them are by his own accord, his own fault. I mean, nobody forced him to go into the marijuana dispensary. Nobody forced him to go into the bars and clubs. Nobody forced him to drive 100 miles an hour, and nobody forced him to pull down the woman's top. And again, these are things where you're being watched by the evil eye of the NFL, trying to look for any little issue to make you pay, and make you an example. And he's sitting there knowing he's almost overly confident, like they're not going to do anything because I didn't do anything. And if I didn't do anything, of course I won't get in trouble.
Yeah,
and the law dropped it, the prosecution dropped it, and he still got caught. The NFL's rules got him by the butt. And again, that's where he has to be smarter. He has to be mature, more mature. And that's why he looks at someone like Dez, look at someone like Dak, look at someone like Jason Witten, and be like them, be a man like them.
Unfortunately, like the NFL is the evil eye of Sauron. So like they're like, what are you doing? Like, oh, I got you now. No, but what's this?
But he's saying that nobody. I see Ali says a good point that none of these things are illegal. I'm sorry, Cowboys abroad. Hey, how you doing, Cowboys abroad? He's saying none of these things are illegal. Again, nothing I'm saying is illegal. I guess to go to a bar, club, I guess going 100 miles an hour is illegal. Pulling down a woman's top, it's not illegal if she's not pressing charges. But again, it's you don't want someone having to buy your jersey to explain to their child, hey, look, he's pulling down women's tops and stuff like that. It's just like it's more of that family-friendly image kind of look. You have to present.
I'm not sure if you heard, but I think this is. I'm trying to think. It was about like a couple weeks ago. Molly Karam off of ESPN First Take, correct?
Yeah, she's in the moderator, basically.
Yeah. So she went off on Zeke. Basically, she was.
I saw that.
Yeah, she was basically claiming but he's gonna come back and people are gonna wear. I mean, for God's sake, like I have the jersey hanging in my closet, and then it's like that was the first. Yeah.
I see it more like I don't want to see it. My issue is not because I don't think he did it, and my daughter knows that has the same feeling. Obviously, if I have that feeling, and I try to be as honest with her as possible about it. With my fiance's son as well, she's honest with him about it, and with the basics of the case, and just the fact that we look at it with logic and reality. She understands that Zeke is probably not guilty in this, and so she's still going to support him. And
exactly, I'm the same way.
Exactly. So again, that is the key here. I think that it's more when the other teams, the other people look at you and say, "Oh, really? You're going to support a woman beater?" I mean, that's where I hate that attachment to it. And I know, and again, me is one thing, and my daughter's another thing. Whatever. I mean, we're just fans. But for him to be attached to it, as a man, to be attached with that label, that's got to be,
no one
bad for him, and that's why he's got to fight this to the end. Especially if he's innocent, fight only if he's innocent. Fight this to the end for your name. Forget about the NFL and the games. You got to fight to the end for your name. Again, it's different than Tom Brady. Tom Brady destroyed evidence. The NFL's hiding evidence. It's a whole different. It's a reverse situation where this actually it might go in Zeke's favor. I'm not counting on that. But it is a possibility. Bigger possibility goes in his favor than it went in Tom Brady's favor.
What is funny, because for my midterm, for one of my justice classes, like I told you earlier, I had to basically go over the Brady case, and why I went to federal court, and what the whole thing was about, and why I was ruled a certain way. It was just so. It was like, oh my God, like this kid, like it was so bad because both sides. Well, I think Zeke has more of a chance than Brady because Zeke has evidence in his favor and he's presenting it. Brady, like you said, destroyed evidence.
He had nothing else to say. I destroyed it. I mean, right there, you pretty just going to incriminate yourself. They had more of the deal was more the process. Was the NFL? Did the NFL go through the right process? And that's where they got the NFL to extend that for another year, which then brought him back with with smoke come out his nose and anger to win that Super Bowl. But then you look at the Zeke situation. It's more of a, I mean, with Brady and that whole situation, he had nothing to go on. It was the process. This is the process as well, but more of a process of, wait, did the NFL do something wrong? And not, okay, did not go step by step the right way? But did they withhold evidence to exonerate this player who is trying to fight for his football life?
Yes, I want to bring this up so you're aware too. Now, when it comes, well, first of all, before I get to that, Joe Thomas, one of the greatest offensive linemen, he has not missed a game ever. He has played 9,996 straight snaps. So he's 4 away from 10,000 straight. That's fantastic. Anyhow, so getting back to what I was going to say. With Zeke's situation, and I thought it was like, oh, the initial suit is, oh, does the NFL have the right to do this? Which they do. Actually, from what I saw, the first thing when it comes to this is that the NFL has to be suing for a legitimate reason, and they have to back up that reason. I have not seen that yet. So in essence, it's either going to end in 2 ways. And of course, these are the obvious 2 ways. Zeke either has to serve it next year, or it's done, or it's gone.
But that's the question is when is it going to be processed through fully? And again, it's like the Brady case. This one even seems a little more intricate, and honestly, in the sense that now it's going to probably take more than just again, it's going to be into the offseason is my point. My fear is that the NFL is trying to rush this to get this through the system so that they could suspend Zeke week 14, and that would be the killer. So the NFL is trying to rush this. I think they said September 26th is when the judge gave. Was given the deadline by the NFL. The NFL said, "Hey, you better get this ready by them."
Never want to do that.
He's gonna piss off the judge, and that only helps Zeke. And again, it's gonna be interesting to see where this thing goes. I don't think it's as clear cut and as open and shut as people saw with the Brady case. So, and like you just said too, it's a whole different situation. It's interesting to see what's going to come about this, but I just hate that they have to use our player, number 21.
Oh my God, yeah,
really it's the best guy. What can it be? Anybody else? I mean, there's other players out there. I don't know. It's just that unfortunately Zeke was caught up with the wrong girl.
Yeah, I think it was wrong place, wrong time.
Yeah, wrong woman, and she is crazy. Like they're saying, I mean, she was with what's his name, Lucky Whitehead, in Cleveland, and sending him pictures. And this is all after the alleged abuse. So 2 months after the alleged abuse, she's calling his house from 2:30 to 8:30 in the morning, 50 times. He had to get a trespassing warrant on her, whatever it was.
Yeah.
So he got that. This is 2 months later. This is 2 months later. It's crazy. Why would she be calling if she didn't give a damn, if she was scared of him? And then
exactly.
And you look at 2 months after that harassment by her. 2 months later, she's with Lucky Whitehead, sending him pictures about, look at them at the hotel, look at who's on the name is on the list at the hotel. Obviously trying to get him jealous or make him upset. Still pissed off and salty about the whole situation. So, to me, it's obvious that she is like someone said here, Tobias, sociopath. I mean, she's crazy. She's got mental problems, and yet the NFL is giving her mindset, a backing by taking her side on this, a very warped situation, by her, I think. And again, the woman, Kia Roberts, who was the one that interviewed Tiffany Thompson 6 times, took detailed notes twice and turned them in, which we don't know if they ever got to Goodell. And the other 4 times she had taken, detailed notes, but did not turn them in. Those notes were never taken. Nobody knew about those notes. Nobody knew about those notes. Those were she saved to give to Goodell.
Lucky Whitehead's daughter was kidnapped by Tiffany.
hey, seriously, you don't think that might be it was supposedly either an ex-girlfriend of Lucky's or a friend of Lucky's. So you don't know. But again, this woman, it has everything against her. Another woman interviewed her who has no ties to Zeke, and says 6 times, 0 games for Zeke based on domestic violence, and they decided to just not even look at her personal notes.
That's which she
brought up in the case. She brought that up in the case.
That is probably no, you're good. That's probably what's going to win the case for Zeke if it goes to the court, which it
if he's
will.
going to win it, those are the reasons why he's going to win the case. You know, if he doesn't win it, it's just the reason of a procedural crap that the NFL somehow was able to talk it through, you know, in the legal case, and we'll see what happens. But you know, they'll probably say somehow all this stuff was allowed by them, and it says it in the CBA.
Well, yeah, it's like, well, you see,
it's gonna take months and months before they can really determine this. The judges, and the
yeah,
courts.
exactly. Like what people don't realize, and thank God some people realize, is that courts are not fast by any means.
Oh,
you might
not at
say,
all.
yeah, you might say, well, I want this done by next week. Well, no, you have to
I mean,
realize that courts have other things other than to deal with some sports.
I mean, for example, my daughter, you know, parenting plan, all that stuff. It's not just done like this on a day. You just walk in and walk out. You got to plan for a mediation day and discuss it. And you got to take it to the judge, and that takes months. And that's just for a simple thing. Forget about something like this. This is a crazy intricate plot twist kind of case.
Like it's like even like stuff like divorce, like that stuff takes God knows how long.
Months and months, sometimes years.
I mean, that's what happened with my parents. Yeah, it was like took forever.
Yeah, that's crazy, man. I mean, you know, I mean, if you've ever been to any kind of, or know anybody that's been through the court system in any kind of way, child support or parenting plan or divorce or whatever, you know, you just know it takes forever. And then something like this, which is so detailed, so intricate, that you know it's going to be like Tobias said, a year. It's going to take over a year. It might be into the next season before they can suspend him. Who knows? And again, Cowboys brought saying Zeke can't win. He have to comply with Article 46. I guess, listen, that's what most people are saying, that it is kind of kicking the can down the road. So it's a matter of time when he gets you know, suspended. But the thing is that the fact that the NFL withheld evidence, and again, I don't know about Article 46 if that's covered. That's what the courts are going to decide. And either way, there is, I think, still a better chance of him winning it than Brady.
But the thing is it's a mix of, does the NFL one have the right to do that? Which, yeah, but also did they do it for said reason? Like, you can't, like, if you are trying to suspend someone knowing that there's evidence that says likewise, you got a bit of a problem. What's this? Oh, if Zeke wins the case, Stephen A. Smith's head is gonna explode.
that would be true. And I was surprised because Stephen A. Smith first said that he kind of was like sympathetic to Zeke initially when he found out, and he's like immediately believed what the NFL said. He's just a hypocrite. He didn't even think it through. He didn't even wait to see what really the truth is.
What I think is funny, and I'm not sure if you remember this. Remember when First Take had that contest?
He had to wear the jersey?
No, not the like contest for viewers to come on the show. Yeah,
he dissed some Cowboy fan. Was that what happened?
Yeah. Okay, so there's, you're never gonna guess. So they have a Cowboys fan it sounds like Stephen A. Smith. I mean, she was a woman, not like sound like, but her voice tone was like Stephen A. Smith. And then you had a guy that was a LeBron, you know, he was like a LeBron lover. Like that goes to show you, you don't, like, I can guarantee you that, I'm not saying they're bad people, I think they're smart individuals, but I'm telling you, like, there's the Mark Holmeses of the world, which I'll be, oh my God, if Mark Holmes went up against Stephen A. Smith, oh, it'd be over. But
I agree. There's so much more knowledge on some of these people out here,
and it's like
for the TV, you know, it's
yeah, I don't have the time to do this every day. I mean, you know, I got to do my things, you got to do your things. Luckily, you look like you're probably gonna pass me by the end of the year, which I don't care about subscribers. I just do this for fun, like.
No, I mean, listen, I got into this because my daughter, my fiance, they're like, you know, you're so passionate. Why don't you just take an hour out of the day and just, you know, discuss Cowboy stuff? I didn't really think it was even going to do anything with this. And, you know, it ended up being pretty cool. You know, it's a way of getting out there and kind of, you know, aligning with the rest of the Cowboy world. Because again, being a dad and being, you know, just busy a lot of the time, it's hard to get out there. And again, putting yourself in situations, guys. I've been to many a sports bar in my life, and it just, I'm so passionate. It's just not a good place for someone like me. To get passionate in a place where you have Giant fans that want to throw stuff.
Tell me about
Redskin fans, Eagle fans. Yeah, you know. So Eagle fans, I mean, I can't tell you how many times in my 20s that I've gotten, not necessarily into fights, but into almost fights based on these things. So I gotta stay out of that. I gotta stay out of that scene.
I will never go to not a Phillies game. Even though I am a Phillies fan, I'm talking about. I'll never go to it. I will never.
I'm sorry.
I will never go to an Eagles game by myself ever, as a Cowboys fan, because you know why? Yeah. Because I've had the last time I went was in 2014. That game where we beat the Eagles to go to the playoffs. And every time I've been to Philly, they always lost, the Eagles. So it's funny.
That's hard.
Yeah.
See, I was gonna say I agree with you because my brother, I told him the worst fan. He's been to almost every stadium, but he's a Cardinal fan, and he was at Philly and the Eagles game, and he said there were some idiots there, but it wasn't as bad as he thought it was going to be.
Oh yeah,
he's a Cardinal fan, but when he went to the worst place he had it, he just says the worst fans, like the worst class fans, are Tampa. According to him, he's been to a Tampa game, and they're bandwagon number one, number two, they're just out there, they don't care. They're drunk, they're throwing stuff.
Sounds
it's
like
not just like they're not there to watch football. He said the Eagle fans at least are passionate about their team.
I can give.
These guys, the Tampa Bay fans don't care. They just get drunk and just burp and throw beer.
Yeah, exactly. See, when I went, like I had a Troy. This was funny. A previous game, it was me, my mom, and like a couple other family members. We were right above the booth where Troy Aikman and Joe Buck were. So we're like, "Yo, Troy, can you sign our jersey?" And it was a Troy Aikman jersey. So
that's awesome.
My mom throws it up. This was funny. My mom throws it up, and I guess it fell down. And Joe Buck gives her this funny, like this. Joe Buck gives her this look. It's like, oh my god, really? And like, I was laughing, but I wore that signed jersey to the game, and the next game, and what ended up happening was that
don't tell me an Eagle fan like tore it up or messed it up.
No, they almost spilled beer on it.
Oh, bastards!
He bumped into me. And I was like, listen, I was like, man, there was actually one Eagles fan. I was like, yo, man, you got that Troy Aikman signed jersey, and it was funny because I was like during that game, like we had the middle finger salutes. Dallas sucks. I mean, there was one time I was trying to go to the bathroom and they wouldn't let me get in the urinal. But
wow. Yeah, they hate us, guys. They hate the Cowboy fans the most. I'll never forget with Jimmy Johnson. They threw. I mean, I wasn't there. Obviously, I was watching, but they put batteries in snow and pelted all the Cowboys. Jimmy Johnson, the whole team. They threw snowballs with batteries in it. Guys.
Oh yeah.
Can you imagine that? That's crazy.
The funniest part about that night. Sorry to cut you off. The funniest part about that night, the 2014 game. Remember when they kicked it off and it was like a fumble, like it was like an onside kick and we got it in the Eagles 10-yard line. So
oh man, I'm trying to think. I remember that. I do remember that something like that. Yeah, I remember the one that. Well, yeah, I remember that it was in Dallas, the one that he ran it back all the way the first play of the game. The Eagles tried to onside it, we ran it back.
Yeah,
but there was another one. I do remember that it went all the way back and.
Oh no, I'm not that. No, what happened was they fireworks going off, everyone's cheering, and it's like then the ball falls over, so they have to put the ball back up on the tee. They kick it off. The Eagles let the ball bounce, and keep in mind it's a live ball on a kickoff. So exactly. The ball bounces, and the Cowboys recovered in the 10-yard line. Everyone's like, "What just happened?" Like
they knew the rules, or I mean, was it just
no? I knew. I was like, "What the heck's going on?" And so we're up 21-0. I'm like, "Oh my god! Like, are you kidding me? I came to this good game. Like, obviously we're beating the Eagles, so I'm like, I could give a crap less." And then they come back, but then we ended up beating them. But it was like, what was so cool about that was that when Tony was going towards the tunnel, there was a ton of Cowboys fans there, and there's a video. When they did the 2014 highlight reel of Tony Romo, I'm actually in the video.
Wow. Really?
I'm at the end of the video when he's walking out of the tunnel. I'm wearing a red jacket, and my mother was next to me wearing a blue jacket, and I was like, "Oh my god, that's me!" Like,
wow, that's awesome. You're forever NFL films there.
Nah, what time is it? Oh crap, it's 11, man. Yeah, I gotta wake up at 10 o'clock. I'm sorry for keeping you so long.
No, man, it's all good, man. This is a good one, man. We're gonna definitely try to do some more of these.
We should, maybe we can try to do one a bit before the game.
Yeah, I'm trying to think of something. I'm gonna do one tomorrow for the my Madden 18, my Madden review. I'm gonna really recap it. I'm gonna play a game out. I'm gonna talk about all the players, so you guys can join us there. Join me on there, and I'm gonna do that with my headset, and I might do a live stream again. If tomorrow's Saturday, so I don't see much coming out. Nothing's gonna come out with the legal side of things, but any kind of injury news or anything like that will be discussed through that. As far as tomorrow's concerned, and then Sunday, man, we really.
Oh, Sunday, I'm like no one contacts me. I'm like,
yeah, exactly. And again, I would love to do. I would love. My thing would be to get everybody on here, but we all have the games at different points, so I'm not gonna risk that. I can't do that. I gotta watch the game and focus.
You do not want me during the game. Like, there have been times where I'm screaming. I'm like, "Oh my god! Like, you gotta be kidding me!" Like, no, but so yeah, I think we should try to do this on a weekly basis. Hopefully, we could add more people. That'd be awesome.
Oh yeah, no, for sure. I know that. How about them Cowboys? I know that Zero God. I know you guys are going to be able to jump in here soon when you get your audio stuff fixed. You know,
Have you
I
set
definitely
up
want
a
to keep it
Twitter?
clean. Clean as far as the audio stuff, because if not, it's always going to be flicking off and on. So it won't be such a smooth transition. But go ahead. Go ahead.
So, you have a Twitter, right? Or no?
Yeah, there is a Twitter. My Cowboys family at My Cowboys
Okay.
family.
You know what you
It's on
should do?
Twitter.
What you should do, and this is what I do because I do another podcast outside this. What we do is we're gonna do one tomorrow, just a free talk. It's whatever.
Huh.
And
All right.
basically what we do is you send, like, basically if you want someone to join, you send the link directly through Twitter through direct messages so that you don't have to worry about trolls coming in.
Right.
Yeah.
So you
It's
can
just a
send me. You can send me the thing if I can jump on there. I can throw in a little bit.
Yeah, like for example, like what I do most of the time is like I'll follow you on Twitter, but obviously, and then what happens is then you could send the link through a direct message to said person so that they can join, and
I
it's
see.
yeah. So like of course I could tell you that later on. So let's go ahead and close out because I have to wake up at 10 o'clock tomorrow.
Yeah,
so
yeah,
I
for
gotta
sure, man. Yeah,
be
me
back
too.
at the office.
It's
But
gonna be early morning for me. But
okay.
yeah, no. I'm sorry. Go ahead. Finish up,
So
man.
before I go, for those that don't know, I'm SpaceCowboy17. Go out and subscribe to my channel. I don't really do a lot of promotions. I'm not a big fan of that, but why not? But
Yeah, man. Listen, as you know, I do it all the time, and that's mainly the rest of my family telling me you got to do it, you got to do that. So I try to promote in my mind. I keep thinking of them telling me you got to do it. So I do that a lot, guys. And again, just to start up, I mean, especially to start up, hit like, hit subscribe if you haven't already.
Subscribe to my
That whole
Cowboy
thing,
family.
yeah. But again, SpaceCowboy17, guys, he's got a lot of videos on there, a lot of information. So
yeah, I got some
Yes,
memes as well. But
he's got a lot of good stuff. And again, that's through Twitter too. But of course, through YouTube here, guys, check it out. Hit subscribe for his page.
well, I technically had to wake up earlier. Everyone's like, "Oh, you gotta wake up at 10 o'clock? What do you mean?" No, but like,
Saturday.
but
What's going on?
yeah, just follow me on Twitter. Follow me on YouTube. Subscribe, whatever. I try to do a weekly recap and preview. But outside of that, thank you for having me on. That was fantastic.
No problem, man. It was awesome to have you on. Thank you for your insight. I think we had a lot of good historic stuff, and also, it was hard to just talk about the Broncos because, again, we were very confident about them. We talked about them forwards, backwards, offense, defense. I think we missed special teams, but
don't worry.
I don't have to really discuss that too much.
Listen,
our special teams is fantastic.
Ryan Switzer is going to be fantastic. That's all I'm going to say.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah, I know. I just can't wait for him to have that breakout game. Everyone's saying every week, everyone's going to say this game. We'll see, but I think it's coming soon. Definitely coming soon. And again, your final prediction. Give us your final prediction.
Cowboys win 31-20. I'm still sticking to it. I did do some crazy predictions, and that's what I kind of do as my shtick and during the previews. I think my bold prediction was Dak throws 3 touchdowns. My crazy prediction was the Cowboys force two turnovers.
See, I like the turnover. I think the turnover is going to be. I think my prediction is going to be we get 4 sacks again.
Yeah, I'm from New Jersey. I'm from New Jersey. If anyone, sorry, someone was asking where I was from. I'm from New Jersey.
Hey, same here. I'm originally from New Jersey, so.
Oh boy.
I know the deal, man. Jersey boys up in country over there.
Yeah.
But see, I like Cowboys abroad. What he's saying, that's what I had said. 24-13, exactly what I said. That was my prediction. And again, like I said, I think if we can take a bigger lead, it could be a little higher. It could be like a 27.
What do you got?
17, that kind of thing. But I'm saying 24-13 is what I said. I'm sticking to that one. I see Cowboys abroad. It said exactly what I said. I like that. Yep. Listen, guys, sub up to Space Cowboy 17. Why I live in Florida? Well, when I was little, when I came from Jersey to Florida, guys. It's a long story, but I came down here when the Challenger exploded. So that tells you how long that was. You weren't even a thought yet right now at that point.
No, man, I wasn't even a thought before the Broncos before the Cowboys beat the Broncos in '95.
That's a good point. Wow.
Yeah, free Zeke, guys. Yeah, thank you so much. This is fun. I want to make this a weekly thing.
Yeah. I'm gonna try to do this again today. I could do it. Usually on every other Friday, my fiance will be in the house when it comes to the Friday nights. I think the Friday nights looks like a good night to do it.
Listen, whatever you want to do. Look,
yeah,
it's your thing.
Yeah, on Saturday I try to do my the Madden thing and try to do the visual. Just so you don't have to all see my ugly face. You guys can see the the actual players on the field. It looks almost realistic already with the way the technology is. And, you know, again, I just play a game through. I don't even care what the score is. I just got to talk about each player. So keep an eye on that for tomorrow. And, you know, and then the game day live stream, guys, you know, we're going to do it. It's going to be 4 of us tomorrow. The whole family is going to be there. And, you know, again, we're not going to do a Google Hangout chat. I know that you know that already, Space Cowboy. Those are going to be probably these Google chats. I'll probably do it. I'm going to try to do it about once a week.
Yeah, that's
probably
fine.
a Friday or Saturday, but mainly Friday. I'm going to try to shoot for. Yeah,
that's
try to shoot for
fine
Fridays.
with me.
Yeah, we try to shoot for Fridays. We'll get a couple more of you guys on these Friday night, you know, Google Hangouts. I also want to try to get, and I'm going to, again, if you guys know, pass the word around and hit subscribe if you haven't. I see a couple new names. But I will say this, guys, if you know any fans from Arizona Cardinal fans, start gathering them up for next week, because I would like to have a couple of them on here to get some insight from their side of things, you know, some non-biased insight, some back and forth, a couple of our Cowboy fans, a couple of their Cardinal fans, and let's get, you know, not a fight, not a trash talk. I think I want to really discuss their pros and cons, our pros and cons, what they think, we think.
With, like, you know, like, you got that whole trash talking stuff that goes on too. They could do it. I mean, I don't mind it, but like,
you know, I find it entertaining. I sometimes I sit down and I watch some of that stuff, but
it's like, when I
want to hear about the Cowboys, that's my thing. It's not about trash talking for me. It's about what's going on with the Cowboys, what's going on this week, what's going on this moment with the Cowboys. So you know, I'm passionate about the wins and losses, not the trash talking. Trash talking will always bite you in the ass in the end. Just you might have a great couple of years and then you lose this horrible game. You got to deal with all that crap. I've dealt with that for 25 years. I'm done with all that. I want to just talk Cowboys and get real about them. And you know, I do really think they are a Super Bowl contender, though.
Man, yeah, we're in the another golden age of Dallas Cowboys football, and it's proud to be alive.
I agree. It's the 4th generation, I think, basically the 4th tier, I think, or the 5th tier of Cowboy football. You know, we're heading. This is it right here. So,
I guess if you want to do it generationally speaking, Don Meredith's the first one.
Yeah, Roger.
Then you got Roger second. Then you have Troy. Well, you could say
Danny White now. Danny White. I remember Danny White.
Yeah. Keep in mind, I know Danny White.
Yeah, don't worry. But anyway, he was one of the. He's not a new generation. He was a bridge.
Yeah, he was a bridge. So then Troy Aikman's 3. That's my mom and my dad. They're 3.
And me.
And you.
That was my main 4. Yeah.
I'm 4 because I was Romo.
Exactly, and Romo's one of those guys like a Danny White, but he wasn't a bridge player. He was supposed to take us to the promised land. He did not.
Yeah, I think Romo counts as a generation because
I definitely agree. I definitely Danny White would be out of those guys. Danny White was the worst out of all of them.
And your children are going to be Generation 5 with Dak and Zeke.
I'm excited. I tell that to my daughter. I'm like, and to my basically my stepson, I say, hey, you know what? You guys don't even know what you're seeing right here. This is the beginning of a new wave of Cowboy greatness you're gonna see here. We just got over some tough years, and even though we had some chances with Romo, you know, we didn't get there. But I have a good feeling this young, great offensive line. This reminds me of the '90s, guys, the early '90s when the Cowboys started building the offensive line. They had Emmett and they had Aikman, which we have Dak, and we had 88 out there, Irving. Now we have 88 Dez. We just have a couple extra weapons in there. I think they could be, on our offense. I think the offensive line is better than what we had back in those days.
Oh my God,
that offensive line was great, but it was ragtag. It was kind of brought in, mixed and matched, and it all worked out for us. These guys are born for this. Our offensive line, we have to use them, and we have Zeke who's born for this. I mean, Emmett wasn't born for it. Emmett did it based on a lot of other things, intangibles, but Zeke's got the natural ability. So we haven't had this kind of firepower in our history of Dallas Cowboy football, guys. That's why I'm loving this.
Yeah, my mom.
Excited. I'm excited.
I've never seen a team this good. I was.
And again, my mom grew up with Roger Staubach. Not grew up, but she was kind of a fan later in life. But she's a Staubach fan in the early '70s into the into the '80s. And, well, he retired before then, but again, she was a Cowboy fan since Staubach before the Super Bowls. And she just liked the, he was a hot guy, I guess. She liked him. But the thing is that,
tell my mom but every time he comes on the TV, she got mad when she found out he got married again.
I know he did. He just recently got married. Yep.
Yeah.
And again, my mom loved Staubach, and that hooked her to the Cowboys. But honestly, I became a Cowboy fan because the Giants were on TV all the time. My dad was a big Giants fan, and it was just like, well, I was a Cowboy fan, Giants fan, but when I watched the game, the cheerleaders, the color of the helmet, the silver, the blue star, the cheerleaders, of course. But I'm saying the blue star, and just the way we looked, the way we played, the swagger Cowboys had. I don't know what it was. I was like 5, and I'm like, That my team. That my team.
That's how I
That was
was.
it.
Like I remember this and before, and I want to close. I'm not trying. I love the talking.
Oh no, man, this is all good. Keep it going.
So,
Just a couple. We have about 5 minutes or so.
Yeah, that's fine. So I always laugh at this play because now there's two plays that are ingrained in my mind forever for me seeing this personally. First one is when Drew Bledsoe. It was my first game ever watching, actually having recollection of it. It was 2005 Thanksgiving.
Wow, really?
So
that far back?
Mm-hmm.
I'm saying, I'm just trying to think. That's what 2005.
2005. That was probably in third grade.
Wow.
Second grade. I don't remember. Anyhow, so basically, I remember Drew Bledsoe. He did a quarterback sneak. The way he jumped over the end zone, I keep laughing.
I remember that.
Like I was like, this dude, like he's like, you got this dude just like it looks like it was great. And then the second play, this is why Tony Romo, well, till Dak came along, was my favorite Cowboys player of all time. Was when I was like, I'm watching this game, I'm watching this play. It was the Rams game in 2007. The snap goes over his head. He runs all the way back. He takes it, and then he runs all the way back. I mean, for God's sake, I went for Halloween as Tony Romo one year.
That's awesome. I mean, I mean, do you remember when you remember when he took over for Drew Bledsoe? Do you remember those years?
Oh
like
yeah,
that?
I remember.
Okay,
I remember
good.
that game vividly.
That was against the Giants, and I'll tell you
Mhm.
one thing. I think he started against Carolina the next week, and that was just the beginning of the Romo greatness, you know. But man, I cannot tell you how upset I was. That's why I can't really be out there anymore in the sport bars and doing this thing. But I was watching the Cowboys Seahawks playoff game, and I just can't tell you the thoughts in my mind as that ball, as he missed that hold. Oh, that hurts so much.
I guess the play that will haunt me forever it's a tie between two.
That one in what, a Green Bay with
No,
Dez?
no, it's not that one. No, Dez is one of them. The other one it was the Giants playoff game in 2007 and when Patrick,
the drop pass by Creighton.
No, not that one. It was on the drive to win the game. It was third down, and Romo put the ball exactly where it needed to be, but Creighton slowed down. If Creighton had kept in stride, he would have caught that ball. That will always be ingrained into my mind.
I agree. I remember the Creighton drop, and I remember that play as well. And I was pissed. I remember saying, "That's the game right there. That could have been the game." And again, the one that reminds me of Romo, I'll never forget it, is that hold. I mean, the hold in the playoff game, we could have, just think about it like this: if he makes that hold, we beat Seattle in Seattle, 12th man.
We would have gone to the NFC. We would have gone to the NFC Championship.
And even if we didn't that year, just the mindset changes. The whole Romo losing situation changes the whole. Like, it's a whole different, direction we go. And then Seahawks might go another direction.
Realistically, the Cowboys should have gone to the NFC Championship that year if we. In terms of beating Seattle, we would have beat the Bears because the Bears.
Right?
The Bears are one of the most. I don't know how they made it to the Super Bowl. They made it to the Super Bowl because of Devin Hester.
No quarterback. Their defense. Yeah, Hester and that defense, man. That's it. Urlacher and all them. One of my best friends is a Bears fan, so I went through that whole year with him. And I think Seattle lost to the Bears in overtime, if I recall correctly. After they beat us that week, that year, and of course the Bears, I think they beat Green Bay and they went to the Super Bowl. Either way, though, we had a chance for sure that year. We had a chance. Seattle didn't have the defense they have now. We had a chance. That's it. And again, that could have changed a lot of things in the history of Dallas Cowboy history. We might have never had Zeke and Dak either. It changes everything. I think changed a lot of things. Maybe we get 2 Super Bowls instead of 1.
Yeah, things happen for a reason. I feel like
I don't believe in that. I don't believe in that, but I
don't believe in that. Like I think I don't sincerely believe that. I just think
it's weird how stuff happens.
That's what I mean. I'm sorry, I misconstrued that. I meant to say it's such something it happens for all the things going. That's what I mean by that. Everything goes into place. Luckily.
Yeah, it's like eventually things seem to, I guess, unless you're like the Cleveland Browns and that, everything eventually falls into place. And and somehow, okay, so we went and had a Super Bowl with Romo, but now we maybe could have 3 with Dak and Zeke, So you never know. I'm not saying, I'm sure we could have had 4 Super Bowls in a row if it wasn't for Jerry Jones's cockiness, and his anger towards Jimmy Johnson. But we could have 4.
Yeah, I think that that's why I personally think the Cowboys dynasty is one of, if not the best in NFL history, because theoretically that team should have gone to more Super Bowls.
Oh, for sure. And we would have won them. We would have. I mean, the Niners destroyed San Diego that year. The San Diego Chargers way back when they were the Chargers, and we would have destroyed them just as easily. It was just one player. Basically, it was the difference was one player that year. It was Deion Sanders in the NFC Championship game. That's one game I'll never forget because we came back and almost won that game. It was like a 4-point game in the fourth quarter, and they scored and it made it like 11 or 10-point game.
Yeah. Oh my God, I remember.
It sucked. You could talk to your mom about that. I'm sure she understands.
No. What's funny is my father's a Pittsburgh fan, so that kind of got interesting in '95.
Oh, the next year. Yeah, the year after that. That would have been interesting. Is that how they met?
No. I think they got married in '95. So.
Oh, okay, all right. That was right. Yeah, right before 96, 97 was when we won our last Super Bowl with against the Steelers.
Let me tell you something. I'm not one of those fans that like, oh, we got 5 rings. Look, my personal belief is if I haven't seen it, I don't pride myself on it. For example, I'm a Phillies fan, Golden State Warriors fan, Dallas Cowboys fan, not really a hockey fan or soccer fan. I've only seen 1 Phillies World Championship and 2 right now with the Golden State Warriors.
Yeah.
I only pride myself on those
championships. Yeah, no, and I understand that because again, I love to watch all the highlights back in the 80s. The NFL Films was and you don't have internet. You couldn't watch the Cowboys every week, like an NFL Sunday Ticket or anything like that. You just got to deal with the 2 games that are on TV.
Oh man, I remember that.
All week.
Yeah,
and you remember that in the 2000s. I'm going back to the 80s, man, the early 80s, mid 80s.
I was like, man, this is such a boring game.
There's like 2 games, and again, the Giants sucked back then. So there was nothing exciting going on. But when they played those damn Cowboys, man, I'm telling you, my dad hated the Cowboys. And again, I like the Cowboys. Nothing to do with that. That's like a whole different thing. That's just it's kind of funny how it came across. But blue is my color, silver. I don't know what it was. It just, as a kid with that mentality, you're like, that color is just awesome. And I don't know what it is about it. The way they look, the way they play. And again, they had Danny White. I have my first jersey is Danny White, guys. I have all the quarterbacks we just mentioned, the 6 generations. Danny White's the worst. So I can't be called a bandwagon fan for loving Danny White, our punter.
My first jersey, you're going to laugh at this. My first jersey was a Roy Williams jersey, not the wide receiver.
Which the receiver.
Safety. No, the safety.
Oh, the safety. Okay, no, at least he had some good years. I number 31. He had some good years, but I will say that the other Roy Williams, number 11, boy, we hurt with that and with Randy Galloway. If you guys, where's his name? Galloway. I forgot his first name, but we had picked up Galloway back in the turn of the century. We gave up like 2 first-round picks for him too. What a waste. Those things hurt the Cowboys through the 2000s. Like through the zeros or whatever you want to call it. The first
10
years of the 21st century.
What was it? What was I gonna say? Yeah, like when it came to hold up, give me a sec. I don't even know how to describe it. It's like when we went through Quincy Carter, which by the way, Quincy Carter
got to the playoffs with him once.
Yeah, Quincy Carter had all the he had all those intangibles, just his head was in the wrong place. Yeah, then you had Drew Henson. Yeah, that too. Chad Hutchinson.
Oh my God, don't go through these names. Oh, this hurts. Drew Bledsoe.
Drew Bledsoe was at least an upgrade.
Some, I guess, yeah. I mean, he was towards the end of his career. He was a hobbled old man. Oh my goodness. I mean, just again, those years were the worst as far as like a consistent quarterback. Obviously, there was none until Romo, and before that, it was Aikman to the end of the '90s, and then we had 5 years of just disaster, pretty much. Quincy Carter was our best one in those years, but but I don't even count those guys as quarterbacks. I go from Aikman to Romo. That's it. But I look back when I see that bridge between. I mean, Danny White got us some NFC Championship games. I mean, he got us the catch away from a Super Bowl.
I think
against the Niners, I mean that play that could have been us. So I'm just saying that Danny White was good enough to be mentioned with these other 5 guys.
I think when it came to
he's like a Don Meredith, I guess you would say.
Yeah, he reminds me of Don Meredith because Don Meredith was the same way pretty much.
Yeah, and the popularity as well. Like he was okay, he was good. He got him to some good games, but he never could win the big one. He was something always missing from him. I think Meredith falls in that category. I think Danny White falls in that category. Roger, I think the next tier would be Romo. I think he was the one that had something more than the other 2 guys we just mentioned. And then above them, you got Staubach, which I didn't get to see play. I probably saw him on TV when I was 4 or 5 years old, but that's probably it. But no, but I mean, as far as Aikman, no more. We didn't have a more consistently accurate quarterback that I've ever seen out there. He could just put the ball anywhere at every time without worrying about he's going to throw an interception. So it was just fantastic. I loved seeing him play.
Is on a whole. Like Romo is its own tier. Not saying he's above Aikman.
I agree. He's a different kind of quarterback.
But like he's like that quarterback where like you can't judge him that much because you had to pay attention to the situation and what he went through. Like you're telling me this guy's the third highest passer rating in NFL history with that team? Like, are you kidding me? Like, dude, that guy is I think Tony Romo's a Hall of Famer, not first ballot, definitely not.
I agree.
But he will slip in eventually.
No, I think people say, I think I heard someone say Jason Witten is not going to be a first ballot. He is going to be a first ballot Hall of Famer. Witten for sure. For sure, Witten. And Romo will be in the Hall of Fame. I just don't think he'll be a first ballot. I agree 100% with you on that. Listen, I think I'm going to wrap it up now because it is really late, man. No, it's okay, man. I'm the same way, man. I could be talking Cowboy history and lore forever and never. I think we should do it, one of these days when we do have a lot of time to kind of waste, I guess. And it's not a waste, but we can get a bunch of us on here from this group, this panel right here. There's 8 or 9 of you guys. I lead Cowboys Abroad. How about them Cowboys? Tobias. I think we get these guys. They know their football. They know their Cowboy history. We jump them on here. I think we could have like 4 or 5 or 6 of us, with good audio, please, with good audio mics like myself. And again,
some people were saying it was better with the Google chat. I don't know if it's just the software. I don't know.
Maybe it could be, but either way, I'm just glad everyone got to hear us. Our breakdowns. We gave our predictions. You said it was 31-20. I said 24-7. I said 24.
Let me go ahead. Alrighty, guys, that's my channel. Go ahead and subscribe there.
Make sure you guys go there, subscribe through that's Twitter and through YouTube. Yep.
Yeah, subscribe here as well. They do fantastic content here, and I'm pretty sure they deserve it much more subscribers than I do or anybody else.
Now, thank you, man. I appreciate it all. I appreciate every single one of you guys out here. The fact that you guys take the time to come out here and watch, listen. You too, of course, Space Cowboy. When you're not doing the Google chat with us. We appreciate it all. And again, I hope we give good enough information to you guys. I know you know a lot about it too, but I hope we do stay on course when it comes to Dallas Cowboy info, news. Don't try to be biased. We don't try to be homers all the time. We try to really be honest about stuff.
That's what's key in society. As long as you're objective, you can go for.
And again, we try to also be consistent with the information daily, if possible. We'd actually be succeeding on that. Luckily, though, we've kind of arranged our days is that we've had the time to squeeze it in.
Also, I got to bring this up because
I might lose some sleep though.
Yeah. I had to bring this up. They got a Patreon. My Cowboys family has a Patreon. You better go patronize them.
I don't know. I that whole thing again. My fiance knows that stuff. She set it up. It's not really doing anything. I don't think it is anything. But again, if you guys watch the streams. Or the ads, that actually helps us. It actually is better than we thought when it comes to advertising. It seems like it's funny how YouTube does it. They really do it based on the content. If it's football, they do beer, cars.
I think it's so much of an oxymoron. It's like a league that sets this dumb precedent where it's like it's bad, but you just
selling it.
Yeah. Oh, it's Philly 500, one of the famous.
Hey, Philly 500, what's up?
What is up? Yeah, we're just about to conclude this live
Who's
stream.
Philly 500? Is he a Philly fan?
He's one of the better Philly fan video makers. He almost is about to hit 2K subs. I don't know if he did yet.
What's up? So listen, Philly, make sure if you haven't subscribed already to Space Cowboy, please do. Subscribe to my Cowboys family. We do daily content. We do live streams.
Also, everybody in the chat, subscribe to Philly 500. Let's get him to 2K subs as fast as possible.
For sure. I'll be subbing to you as soon as I'm off of here. Philly 500. Listen, I just I'm hearing good words right now. So here's what I'm saying. When we play you guys later on in the season, I want to do one of these Google chats with you. We have Hollyway, we have Eagles fan. We got a couple guys on here that have been consistent Eagle fans. I want to get them on this Google chat, and if Philly 500 can jump up in here, that'd be awesome too. I think you're 420. You hit 420 for us there, Philly. So thank you for that.
Yeah.
All right, Zeke.
Alrighty, guys.
Family friendly channel.
We got yeah, exactly. We got to be advertiser friendly too. All right, guys, we have to get out of here. I got to wake up early.
Yeah, we all do, guys. Thank you. Have a good weekend.
Thank you
We will
so
see
much.
you. Yeah, hey, listen, for sure, Space Cowboy, thank you for all your input and all the information. We'll do this again next Friday. That's the plan. We're going to try to do Friday night, Google Chats, guys, with as many. We're going to try to build up and make sure your audio is good, and we can get you on in here too, guys. It was a lot of fun. Yeah, Dano, 420. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for that. Thank you, Philly 500, and thank you, Space Cowboy, for all the information, man.
Yeah, thank you for having me on. Let's keep this going.
For sure, brother. For sure. And make sure if you're able to join me for tomorrow's Madden 18 little highlight, join us for that, guys. And of course, the game day live stream, guys.
Yeah, hold up. Before we leave, Philly 500, it's a lot. We're just rambling on certain topics. I mean, we're not that afraid of Denver.
Yeah, actually, it took a lot of time to really get us to really dissect the Denver game because it was kind of simple. We run the ball, we win the game. That's pretty much it. I mean, and I'm not trying to be cocky about it. I mean, that's the basic. What we're talking about. We did try to flip it around and see what they had to do to stop us. So there's a lot of good stuff. I think we talked about everything we possibly could, and also about historic stuff about the Cowboys.
Exactly.
Some Philly stories as well, some Eagle stories too. So you'll like to hear that.
Yeah,
just watch replay, man, for sure. I keep these up. I know some people sometimes take them down, or I try to keep all the information out there, guys. Just
how long was the stream? Like about 2 hours.
Yeah, I know we've been streaming 2 hours, and it's a tough one to watch. Sometimes you might have to skip through it to get maybe the more interesting parts for you, some of you guys. I did the game day live stream during the Hurricane Irma. If you guys remember that Hurricane Irma, man, well, that was a scary day a scary night for us. But that's when we were playing the Giants. Did the live stream anyways. We had the hurricane cam, and then if you guys check out a video, I put together a compilation. I think How About Them Cowboys said it was really good. I'm glad. Thank you guys. If you watch it, give the like, the thumbs up. If you're new, subscribe. But that video is a compilation. I'm gonna try to do that every Wednesday. Try to get the compilation of the highlights of our reactions at my Cowboys family, and put that up. Like a little 7-10 minute clip every Wednesday for that too. So keep an eye out for that. Keep an eye out the one I just put out like a Wednesday. You can go back and we'll see that in our video collection here. But yeah, thank you again.
Let's close out. Make sure we sub up everybody. Sub up Philly 500.
For sure.
Sub up my Cowboys family. Sub up me. Let's get this train going.
Thank you, Dano. Thank you, Cowboys Abroad, Tobias, all you guys out there, Philly 500, Space Cowboy. Thank everybody. I know we had Purple Gaming. We had Amy Kim Fly. We had Frankie G. We had everybody out here. How about them Cowboys? Thank you all for joining us. We'll be back on Friday for this kind of deal, but we'll be back tomorrow with Madden 18. I'll be doing a whole breakdown of the Denver Cowboy game.
But I will be in another live stream on my podcast channel.
All good, man. All good. Thanks again. And everybody, say it with me. You know the 2 words.
I can't scream it because people are sleeping in my house.
You can whisper it. Ready, guys? 1, 2, 3.
Go Cowboys!
Woohoo! I love it, man. I love it. I always say that my entire life. I'm going to continue to say it. Go Cowboys.
All right. Peace out, everybody.
Peace, man. Peace, everybody. Thank you. And go Cowboys.
Go Cowboys. Let's